Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, to Generations Behind, episode 23. I am one of your hosts, Craig of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, the Corey in the House connoisseur, Mr. Zach Daily Beating. Zach, how are you today?
I don't know why I'm here, how I got here. I don't know what Corey in the House is, for the record. But I'm having a good time, I think.
Below us, the collector of Corey in the House on DS, the luscious slut, Mr. Tyler. Hey, Tyler, how are you today?
Doing pretty good. I actually just recorded that video, Corey in the House collection, coming to you on Game Collecting Reaper. Probably not, but maybe we'll see it. April Fool's Day joke.
So it's been a long, running joke, on stupid places like r/game collecting and, just the internet in general. This game has a really high Metacritic score by user ratings. People always joke about being collectible and rare, this, that, the other. It's obviously not. It's Corey in the House on DS. So I put in the quarter of this video for our episode on retro game collecting. And in that process, before the episode started, Zach was like, didn't something happen to Mr. Corey, Kyle Massey? And we found out he's a terrible person. But it's too late to change our layout. So we're sticking with it, and we apologize for the
platforming Mr. Massey.
We do not support Mr. Massey in his actions.
This game really have a good Metacritic score? Or are you bullshitting me?
The user score used to be like the highest ever. What? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the user score used to be incredibly high as a bit. So I don't know where it started, but I couldn't think of anything else to put for game collecting. I probably could have put a console.
What
you
should have put?
What?
You should have put iCarly on the DS. That final boss theme goes hard, bro.
Oh, it does. It's insane. It sounds like Kingdom Hearts music. It's crazy.
I'll look that up.
Craig's been in the Discord.
It's not real. I hope you know that, Tyler. It's not real. It's a joke.
Oh, that wasn't real? Damn.
No. Somebody posted a YouTube video, and they called it the iCarly Final Boss DS theme. It's like this epic sounding Kingdom Hearts track.
I thought the game really had a final boss that was like that. Oh.
The idea of iCarly having a final boss is incredible.
You never know.
Have Yoko Shimomura make the theme for that game.
It'd be incredible.
It could have been like fucking Freddy's mom coming in or something. That could have been like the final boss or something.
iCarly was a very strange show in retrospect. I don't know if you guys have also watched the 10-hour video essay by Quentin Reviews on iCarly, because of course I have. I have nothing better to do. But very strange show in retrospect. But man, if I didn't love it growing up. Shout out to all those.
Didn't they reboot it?
Yeah, and I haven't watched any of it, so.
I think they rebooted it, but then I think Sam didn't do it or some shit.
Yeah, Jeanette McCurdy's anti-Nickelodeon and all that, so she always talks about her awful childhood and awful experience. So sorry, Jeanette McCurdy, but
next episode you might as well put Jan Schneider at the bottom left corner.
Maybe not. Maybe we should start over, and I should just change this layout. Now I'm feeling bad about putting Kyle Massey in the corner. I didn't know. Anyway, this is a show where we usually talk about retro video games, and sometimes we talk about Kyle Massey, but I would like to focus more on the video game part of this. We have one audience write-in from John. He said, "Hey John, here. I had a write-in from the last episode, but for some reason it disappeared to me, and I have no idea what happened." John, why didn't you just write in again?
No, he tried to, and then it was weird, because I texted him in the middle of that last episode when we were recording. I was like, hey, we didn't get your write-in. And he was like, I put it in. Then he went to, redo it. And then it said to, edit it. He clicked edit, and it gave him Patrick's.
Huh.
So, he was like, what?
That is super weird. I'm not totally sure how it works, honestly, because I couldn't think of a better way to do write-ins for the show, so I just have, a Google form thing. If anyone has some suggestions out there for a better way to submit in write-ins, oh, yes, the co-host himself.
I think it'd be kind of cool if maybe you got a P.O. box and if people send actual real for shoot letters to you.
And then you right away.
And then put those
in. Them open.
No, I'm only going to take write-ins from Carrier Pigeon now.
Okay, yeah.
That way I
He's gonna open most of them
Open
right
up the
in.
window and pull in a pigeon with a letter every time.
Live on the show. I'm like, oh, another
How
one.
awesome would that be if a pigeon showed up live show with like a little scroll on its leg,
I'm like,
and you
oh.
just started reading the write-ins?
It's just
And he's
like
gonna like
Jason wrote in and said, "Fuck Final Fantasy VII
no,
remake."
no, it's not gonna be like that. Everybody else writes in. You're gonna get like a standard, either just like a little note card or index card, or maybe even like a fortune cookie wrapper. But Jason writes in. You're gonna get something like the Declaration of Independence.
That's also
Yeah.
true. We appreciate your essays every week, Jason. They
It's
are
the
much
best part.
appreciated.
That's part of
Some
the
more
job.
than others, but
But yeah, so today we're talking about retro game collecting, kind of just a rambly, fun, all over the place topic. Not too much direction for this one. Just want to talk about things we like to collect, why we do this, that, the other. Since we all like buying old junk and putting on our shelves to collect dust forever. But our next episode is going to be the first time that we're not going bi-weekly. We're only going to have a week in between, and we're going to be talking about the Gen 1 Pokemon games. So your reds, your blues, your yellows, your greens if you're really fancy like that and want to play a fan translation of the worst version of Gen 1. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about the future of Pokemon, because it's right after Pokemon Day, so we thought it'd be fun to talk about what they present in that and kind of go over the changes of the series over the years and what our hopes and dreams and all that other fun stuff. So I need to get my butt in gear. I only have 4 badges in Pokemon Yellow, so I really need to get to it since I only have a week to beat the game. Luckily, I am a fucking heathen playing on an emulator, so I could just do double speed and get through it really fast.
Nice.
So
I bet that game is so much more enjoyable on double speed.
it really is, because I every once in a while I'm like, man, I want to listen to the music, because it speeds up the music too, and then it's unlistenable. Exactly, but it's so slow. It is so slow. I just can't do it to myself, so I gotta double
best
speed
theme
that
is,
bad
like-
boy.
Best theme is Lavender Town. Saying.
I've actually never been a big fan of Lavender Town.
Uh,
I remember the creepypastas from when we were kids that made people kill themselves, so that was fun. But did you guys ever believe any of these creepypastas when we were younger? Like Ben Drowned or Lavender Town and all these other different things?
not really.
No,
No. Me neither. I just always thought it was interesting. Because I remember as a
it's
kid...
frantically like, yeah, me neither. No, it's always interesting.
No.
Yeah,
I
I
remember,
didn't.
No, I remember the
Alright,
thing that I
next
thought
topic.
was the strangest for sure, though, was Ben Drowned, just because, like, they made, like, footage to go along with it. And as a kid, like, I couldn't comprehend how somebody was able to fake that. Like, I knew it couldn't be real, but I was like, how are they doing that? Like, I didn't know you could just hack a video game, so... Oh god, I almost knocked over my giant pile of pickups, not to brag. I have so many games to show off later.
I have none, so spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Slacking. Alright, boys. Why don't we talk about some video games? What have we been playing? Tyler, why don't you go first? What have you been playing?
Well, I'm playing. So I'm playing Pokemon Pinball Ruby and Sapphire. The Game Boy Advance one. Great pinball game. If you never played it, I'd recommend it. It's probably one of my favorite pinball games. If you don't know about it, you catch Pokemon, you evolve Pokemon. You even have like different legendary battles and bonus battles, etc. I always wanted to like 100% the game, but like it's a big task. So I was like, eh. But now that I got something, I kind of want to, because I'll get later to that in pickups. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and it also kind of inspired me to play it because I've seen this like YouTube video, to where I guess you're able to catch Cyndaquil, Chikorita, Totodile, and Aerodactyl in the game, but they're not like actually part of the Pokédex.
Yeah, I watched the same video as you.
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool video. I'd recommend somebody watching. I think it's YouTube's like G Medley or something like that. Yeah, pretty much it involves e-reader cards and stuff like that, but Japanese only, yada yada, a lot of other stuff. So I've been playing that, working on that. I might even like try to get the e-reader cards and do that if I do it. If I get 100, then I'll go do that. Finish it off, completionist of me, gotta do it.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, started Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. One I never played. I never played the GBA ones, so I was like, yeah, kind of play a Fire Emblem game. And so I asked the guys. I was like, yeah, what Fire Emblem game should I play on the GBA? And then Craig was like, you should obviously play Zach's favorite. So I was like, well, so like literally 30 seconds later, I sent them a photo of me playing it, and Craig was like, wow, that was fast.
What chapter are you on?
I'm only on like chapter 2. I still got to get more into it.
Okay, it's okay.
I'll get there. Don't worry. Other than that, what else was I playing? So I played this weekend is the Sonic Racing Crossworlds beta. Got into that. Well, kind of got into that. They sent me an Asian code for so I couldn't use it. I mean, I could have used it if I would have made like a Asian account and I could have just
What do
played it
you
on my
mean
regular
they
account.
sent you an Asian code?
Sega sent me a code that only works in the Asia region.
Why?
Don't tell me. I don't know. So, like, apparently a lot of people did that. Apparently they had a mix-up with, like, websites. Like, there was two different websites, but they looked the exact same or something. So apparently I signed up on the wrong website. I tried contacting Sega support, and they were pretty much like, yeah, we can't do nothing about it. Um, so I didn't really. I kind of went on eBay and got a code. But yeah. So I did. It wasn't.
So you bought a code to the the
I
beta?
wanted to play it.
That's funny.
You should have sold your Asian code.
I still have it. I tried to give it to Craig for free, and he didn't want it.
Well, I don't care enough, honestly.
The game's great. Zach, you should
Was
play
that the code you were saying you're going to give him was the Asian code?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
You,
why
you
I had
could do
one.
you could do the hard work if you want to play.
It's not that hard. Is that I had one and Jonathan had one, and Jonathan, when we gave one of them to our buddy Hector, he just made a Hong Kong account and redeemed it. Takes like 5 minutes, bro.
I'm very curious
think
about
so.
all the characters they're gonna add. Like, give me something disgustingly niche. Give me like Azel from
like-
Panzer Dragoon Saga.
The
Give me the good
roster
shit.
has like a good amount of like slots, and then it says even and many more at the bottom. So I'm
Interesting.
kind of like interested to see what they do, because they're gonna have guest characters.
Mhm.
Every Sonic racing game usually does. Might even throw a NASCAR driver in there if they're a little spicy. But
So
no
funny.
one
I
will
can't believe
play
they
it.
did that. There's like, and also a real person and Wreck-It Ralph as guest characters.
So might do that. Who knows? We'll see. I was really disappointed because Jet the Hawk and Big the Cat weren't in the thing. I mean, I kind of had a feeling Jet the Hawk wasn't going to be in the first beta because of the extreme gear, and they probably didn't want to throw the extreme gear in the game yet. So I've been playing as Cream the Rabbit because she got a chow on her. So
Hell yeah.
that was nice. And I played as Zaz a bit. The one who Zach was like, "Who the hell is that?" And I had to inform him on
Well,
Sonic Lost World lore.
who the fuck played Sonic Lost World? That's the thing.
Nobody, because they didn't port it to the Switch.
True.
If they would have ported it to the Switch, a lot more people would have played it.
I mean, it's not a very good game, but
It's not that bad. I mean, like, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Like, it's not Sonic Adventure type stuff, but it's not Sonic in the Secret Rings, Like, it's like.
Oh, well,
good
I'm not going to be
middle
here for
ground.
the Secret Ring slander. That's a quality title.
Listen, you could take your
Um,
Wiimote and tilt it backwards and get the fuck out of here, right? So, so,
Jesus Christ.
but I don't know. I like Sonic Lost World because they had the multiple different paths you could take throughout the whole thing. It was kind of annoying going back and getting the Red Star rings, but I enjoyed it. And then lastly, you know what I've been playing, guys? Roblox.
Hell
A
yeah.
lot of Roblox, because you may hear Roblox, think of like these little kids and stuff, but some of those people make some insane games. I've been playing. So if you like Balloons Tower Defense, any tower defense type game, they have this SpongeBob Tower Defense that this person just made, and it has like a whole bunch of different units. And dude, it's crazy. It goes hard, and they put out an update every single weekend. This weekend they put out the Bubble Bowl. There's a special event where you can get all the Bubble Bowl like characters and stuff.
That's funny.
It's great. I'm loving that. Having a good time with that. Spending too much time on it, to be honest. Like when I get my PSN wrap up for next year, January is probably going to be Roblox, which is going to be really sad to see. But I mean, screw it. And then also I've been playing this Poke World, which is apparently like this Pokemon Brick Bronze somebody made on there, which is like a full-on Pokemon game. You actually start. You get a starter. Your parents get abducted by the villain team, which is called Eclipse. So you're pretty much on a quest to find your parents while also getting the gym badges, and it has all the Pokemons from now till Scarlet and Violet in it. And it's like,
Does it look like Pokemon? Like, what is it? What's the interface?
yeah, I
look
mean,
like?
so it is in the beginning. It's kind of like that top-down view, essentially. Then when you get out, it's kind of more like free look. And it's a little blocky like Roblox. There's some good parts. And there's actually like grass, wild encounters. But then when you go into a wild encounter, it is like an actual battle. Like you're here, they're here. Oh, I guess like that. I guess. kind of hard doing this. But yeah, and it's like a normal Pokemon battle. You hit fight, you hit your move, yada yada. The same way with catching them and trainer battles. You run into somebody, they stop. You're like, hey, and yeah, they say some dumb shit like I like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear, or something like that.
Classic.
Um,
Never
but yeah,
related to a video game character more.
it's honestly not that bad. It's pretty cool. I got to like the second gym, so yeah, you already encountered
Roblox
Groudon.
is
You don't
is a
catch him.
mystery to me.
Dude, Roblox has some crazy stuff. Like me and John were doing some other little ones. I didn't really dive deep into them. Somebody like remade Universal Studios with all the rides, so you could like go on the rides and. But the thing that was stupid is you actually had to wait in line if there were other people in line.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
It's like a whole simulator. I'm kind of
You're-
down for that way more. That is like a theme park simulator.
You're in line and like every person in front of you, it counts down 20 seconds and then they go and then you go and then you go and then
That's
you
crazy.
go. And then you like walk down the line further and then you actually get on the ride. And then I was playing as like this little tiny piece of steak. Like my character was extremely tiny. And I had this little Gengar beanie on.
He's just like you.
Yeah, he is pretty much a little tiny, chunky steak, you know. But so essentially, then I would try to get on the ride. My guy would be too short, like not short for the ride, but like to walk on it. So my thing would glitch out and I had to respawn and stuff. So I eventually changed to my character. Now I am a rotating fan with a Gengar hat on. So yeah,
The ideal male body type.
essentially, yeah. But yeah, Robot's kind of cool. It's got some neat stuff on it.
Isn't there an official like Sonic game in there too? That Sonic Speed Simulator or whatever. Isn't that official?
Yeah, I
I've
played
heard
that
that's actually
before.
pretty cool. So
Yeah, I played it about a year ago, and I like did all the events and got all caught up. It's probably updated a lot more now.
yeah,
They're even adding like comic characters now and some obscure stuff to it.
that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I
So-
I remember I downloaded Roblox at the time because I wanted to try it, and then for some reason I didn't think about the idea that I'd need an account, and I was like, I'm not making a Roblox account. Then I uninstalled it, so that's as far as I got.
I was also going through like different like levels and stuff with Jonathan, and we found this one where it was like escape area 51 with queso, right? And so you go into this big area that they claim is Area 51, and it's just this giant JPEG image of queso at Waffle House chasing you, and it's playing that Burger King remix song or whatever.
Oh, the one where like the AI doing his voice.
Mm-hmm. And it's just chasing you, slowly catching up to you, no matter which way you go, dude.
That's funny. Shout out to Queso. Definitely one of the best streamers around. Love watching that guy.
Fun fact about Queso: so when I played WWE games, I
Mhm.
kind of just download custom-made superstars because people make the stupidest stuff, like Ronald McDonald, Grimace, Queso, Tupac, and all that. I downloaded 30 different characters so I could do a 30-man Royal Rumble and just watch it. So me and my friend just watched it, and Queso won the whole thing.
Hell yeah.
Queso won. I was gonna tweet it at him and be like, "Yo, you won the Royal." I didn't do it,
That's funny.
but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Roblox.
For real. If you want to support the show, send me some Robux. Thanks.
Robux.
Send this 27-year-old man Robux, please.
It was just my birthday. I'll take it.
Exactly. Happy belated birthday to our boy down here. Officially
important.
officially an old man.
Yeah.
Mr. Zach, what have you been playing?
Been dabbling in a handful of things, but the three, I guess, main things I've been playing, they just added Wario Land 4 to NSO. I enjoyed Wario Land 1. I couldn't quite get into Wario Land 3, but I did want to try Wario Land 4, and I'm liking it so far. I've only done a handful of levels. Basically, it is a standard 2D platformer. You can like do the shoulder dash to like break through walls, and it's like kind of a puzzle platformer, but it's more of a platformer than 3 was. Basically, you're going through levels and you're trying to get these 4 parts of a jewel, and then those jewels, when you get all 4, it opens up the door to the next level. But As you're going through the level, you get these jewels, and then you get to the end of the level. There's a key, and then when you grab the key, a timer will go, and
Hmm.
you got to run back to the level and escape before the timer gets out. It's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. I think I will see it through. But like I said, I'm only like 4 or 5 levels in. I don't know how long it is, but
It's a gorgeous
I think
game
it's
too. I
fun.
love the pixel art in it.
It's a very good looking game for, especially for. I think it was an early GBA game. I think it was
Hmm.
like 2001.
Hmm.
It looks pretty good. It's got some fun little mini games, and one of them is a baseball mini game where it wants you to turn your Game Boy sideways. But I was playing on the Switch, so I had to turn my entire Switch sideways into Tate mode.
That's awesome.
And I was like pressing the A button like this. That was
That's
pretty
funny.
fun. Um, yeah, hopefully I'll see that one through. I'm liking it enough, and I don't know. I want to try to get through Wario Land 2 and 3 because when I played Wario Land 3 the first time, I wasn't enjoying it. I want to revisit it, but I'm gonna play this one first.
Yeah, those ones are supposed to be very almost Metroidvania like, right?
All right, thank you. Sorry, a moment of silence. My alarmo was going off. I would all take that in. Yeah, the third one is definitely like is kind of Metroidvania e. You like I only played it for like an hour or two, but yeah, you go through levels. You're trying to solve. It's like a puzzle platformer, and you have to go back to old levels when you get things, and there's a lot of like treading backwards, and that's what I think I wasn't really in the mood for. I was looking forward to just like a regular platformer when I was playing it,
Hmm.
and it wanted me to like go back to old levels, and I was like, no, not right now.
That's fair.
Yeah. Next game I'm playing. I have one retro game, one indie game, one AAA new game. So the
Hell
indie
yeah.
game I played was called A Game About Digging a Hole.
I just
Um,
watched your short about this morning.
um, it's $5 on Steam, and it's if you can imagine with me, imagine you're playing SteamWorld Dig, but through the interface and the look and feel of like Power Wash Simulator, and you have a house, and you go into your backyard and you just dig holes in the backyard, and then you get materials, and you go to your garage and you sell them on your computer, and then you use that money to buy upgrades for your shovel, and the shovel digs bigger holes, and then you go back and you get it and it sells bigger holes, then you can buy a jetpack. Next thing you know, you're like way underground with this like intricate system of like you have a drill and you're flying around with a jetpack. It's very fun. It's just a satisfying loop. You can finish it in like an hour, and it felt like it was about ready to be done with its loop of getting materials and selling them and upgrading. When that hour hit, I was about ready for it to finish. But once you finish it, you get achievements. You can go back and start a new run and like go after achievements if you want. Which I don't really care about Steam achievements, but
Me
it's
neither.
fun. It's a neat little game, and it's a good. If you want something to just like knock out on a Saturday morning for $5, I can recommend that. Um, and then the last one I've been playing, I'm about 5 or 6 hours into Avowed.
Yes, I'm
I
super
finally
curious to
actually,
hear about this
yeah, I've actually turned on my Xbox Series X and played something
for the
for the
first
first
time.
time. Um, so this is
Almost
from
holiday.
Obsidian, who made what, Outer. Always get confused. Outer Worlds,
Hmm.
not Outer Wilds,
Hmm.
Outer Worlds.
Hmm.
Those games always confuse me. Why did they have to release those two games so near each other
I know.
with such similar names?
I got
Um,
screwed up for many years too.
so they made Outer Worlds and Fallout New Vegas. Um, so this is their like their
They're Elder Scrolls, right?
fantasy Elder Scrolly kind of thing. Um, so if you've played Elder Scrolls, you'll feel familiar with like the basic concepts of like first person sword, shield, magic, whatever you want to have. It doesn't have quite all the immersive sim stuff that Elder Scrolls has. Like you can't pickpocket everybody. You can't if you throw an item on the ground or if you shoot an arrow into a tree, it's not going to stay there forever. It'll like despawn. Um, so if you just go into that mindset that it's not Skyrim and you're just in a fantasy world, it's a fun time. Um, Combat is really good. It's very punchy. There's a lot of like hit stun. If you hit someone with like a really strong uh, like attack, you feel the weight of that this like the hit stop and like the big impact and they go flying. Um, Very hectic combat. You have like lots of abilities. I have main ability I have. I'm playing as like a warrior right now. And I have this dash ability where you just look at somebody and you just like zoom at them. And oftentimes when you hit them, they'll just go flying like ragdoll, and that's always very fun. Um, my main build I'm going right now, I have like a sword in one hand that does like fire damage, and I have a wand in the other, and I'm just shooting wands at people. And when they get close, I start smacking with a sword. Um, it's pretty cool. The story, like I said, I'm only like 5 or 6 hours into it, so I haven't got much of the story because I've been doing a lot of side stuff and just exploring. And the exploring is also very good because the game is beautiful. Um, it is very colorful. Um, it just kind of lets you just go do stuff. It doesn't like railroad you to the story at all. So I think I've only done like 1 or 2 story quests, and I've been playing for like I said, like 5 or 6 hours. I've gone to lots of dungeons, lots of caves, done optional bosses, stuff like that. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think I'm going to stream it today, actually.
Ooh.
I It's a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to play more of it. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm very curious
on Game
about
Pass,
it.
on Game Pass, so
Hmm.
recommend at least trying it on Game Pass.
I don't think the physical edition comes with a disc, which makes me sad. So,
So I wanted to buy it, but I did not because, like you said, the only physical version is a Ultimate Edition or whatever you call it for $100. It's a steelbook, but then it has a code inside of it.
so
There's no
disappointing.
regular boxed, no regular boxed version with a disc.
That
You
makes
have to
me
buy
sad.
the Ultimate Edition for $100, which is a steelbook, but it's just a
Mhm.
code. So,
Yeah, I thought about
um,
I'm not sure how this runs on Steam Deck. I'd have to check, but I thought this might be a good Steam Deck game because it
yeah,
doesn't seem like, fully immersive in the same way that an Elder Scrolls game does, but I feel like it'd be a fun pick up and play fantasy game is the vibe I get from it.
yeah, definitely. And like I said, I forgot to mention the other like thing you can't do in this game. You can't just like attack NPCs
I
like you
saw
can in
that.
Elder
People were
Scrolls.
complaining about
Um,
that a lot on Twitter.
yeah, if you just go in with the mindset that this is not Skyrim, you
Mhm.
can't attack NPCs, you can't steal everybody's stuff, you can't leave a ball of cheese on the ground that's going to stay there till you beat the game. If you just put all those expectations to the side and just play a good fantasy game, it's very good.
Yeah, because it seems like if you just took out like kind of like the immersion elements, I guess of like think of like Bethesda RPG, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it doesn't need to be there. It's nice, but it seems like that's what it's missing. And it seems like that's what a lot of people don't like about it.
They did add some stuff to set it apart though from Skyrim. There's actually some decent platforming in this game. There's like
Oh,
parkour.
huh, that's kind of
There's
cool.
lots of little like so you can run and sprint when you run and jump. And when you run jump, you jump a lot further. And there's lots of little like ledges that they put around where it's like, oh, I'm gonna climb up on that ledge. It's like, I wonder if I can make it to that ledge. And you can. And they put lots of if you're interested enough and want to explore, there's lots of little parkour challenges to get to the top of something. There's always like a chest up there, and they let you jump off of it, which is always really fun. So the parkour and like platforming is actually surprisingly good for a first person
Hmm.
um, game where you don't. It's just regular run and jump, but it feels fun enough to do it.
Interesting. That sounds really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I'm tempted to check it out. I just have too much on my plate right now in terms of what I'm playing and what I need to play. So, and as I'll talk about shortly here, I'm already in a big, giant role playing game. So,
Mm, yeah.
but I guess it's time for me to go. Unless you have anything else you want to say about Avowed.
Um. No, I think about covers it.
Tyler, do you think you want to check out Avowed?
It'd be cool. I mean, I have Game Pass, so
Hmm.
why not?
I got that Series S because I'm a chump of a Microsoft fan. So,
I've been paying for Game Pass for like 4 months.
you
I
haven't
haven't played
used
anything.
it.
so, so
You know what's wild about Game Pass is if you sign up for it and you cancel it before your first month ends, they just refund you, which is crazy
oh,
to me. Because I did that recently where I signed up to play something and then I was like, I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, all right, I don't want to pay for it again next month. I'm already done. And they're just like, do you want to cancel? We'll refund you the full amount now if you do. I'm like, okay, sure.
okay.
Give me my $17 back or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the one benefit of like Microsoft bankrolling this is like
They're
they're
very
really trying to
generous.
get people they're really trying to get people in the door and they just can't seem to figure out how to get people to like care about Xbox games. I mean, within reason. People like Xbox games, but they
Yeah.
can't get the core audience of people to come over to Xbox
Hmm.
or Game Pass and like it's like they were like there was that time when they had all the like 1 month of Game Pass on all the Pop Tart boxes. You just had to like go buy Pop Tarts and you get a month of Game Pass, and you could like stack it up for months and months and months and months. It's like they're really trying. It's just not. I don't know.
I know. Do you have a theory, you guys, to why you think it doesn't work?
I honestly, man, I think it's just people got when the Xbox One came out, was so bad at launch.
Yeah.
Everyone got PS4s. Everyone got into the PS4 ecosystem. That's where all their games are, all their digital libraries, and it just had a lot of bad, what do you call it? Bad, like
Right.
good, not bad goodwill, but no, well, lack of goodwill from the audience. They just haven't. And then the whole thing, they didn't release like a first party game for like years at a time. I felt
Yeah.
like there for a while. So
Yeah. And I'm totally with you. It's always going to be shocking to me that the affordability factor hasn't made more of a difference, right? You'd think that, like, because of how cheap it is to play their games, and the fact that you don't even need an Xbox anymore, it's like you'd think that that would help so much, but somehow it still hasn't made much of a difference.
people just don't really care, which is like the saddest. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I guess, gaming is kind of a luxury hobby anyway. If you're doing it, you probably already have the money to invest in it, I guess, so you're probably going to invest towards the things that you care more about, and I don't know, I guess Sony and Nintendo just got that chokehold for life.
yeah, the Xbox One coming in at $100 more than a PS4 and being like a less powerful system at launch really kind of boned them.
Yeah, I bought an Xbox. I think I got both my PS4 and my Xbox One in 2014, so that would have been a year after launch, if I believe, right? Because I think they came out in
I think it was
2013.
November 2013.
And I remember at the time, I liked both, but I remember my issue with my Xbox One is everything was so much slower. Like, I remember you'd put in a game disc and it would still take like 7 hours to download the game, and I was like, what is this? So it's like I almost never used my Xbox One just because of that. Like, shout out to all my Rise Son of Rome heads out there. I enjoy myself some Rise Son of Rome, but it wasn't enough to keep me there in the long term.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I was like, PlayStation's just going to be for exclusives and Xbox is going to be everything else. And then that quickly changed to me selling my Xbox One. So
The biggest turnaround was when PlayStation did that how to play game or how to trade games or whatever on your PS.
Share games with your friends.
Yeah, how to share games with your friends, and he was like, "There you go. That's how you share games on PlayStation."
oh yeah, that was baller.
Yeah, there was that just thinking about that time now. There was when people were complaining about the Xbox One, they asked whoever was in charge of Xbox at the time, like, what if we? What was it? The question was something like, what if we don't want to? And something like that, where they asked a question about something that was negative about the Xbox One. He's like, well, we have a great product for you. It's called the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah.
And just pissed everyone off.
Yeah, I think it was something about they didn't always want to be online or something.
Yeah, always online. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just kind of shot themselves in the foot a bunch right at
Yeah.
that time. But,
Speaking of that trading games with friends thing, I've heard Shuhei Yoshida's done some really good interviews recently. I've been meaning to watch those. I'm not sure if you guys have checked those out yet. Apparently, he's being pretty spicy about the things he's like saying about Sony and the way that they operate and treat people and treated him. So I'm very curious to check those out.
Dude, when he said that one part where like Jim Ryan was like, "Look, you can either hit the road or do indies," I was like, "Yo,
Oh
that's
shit!
crazy."
Is that one of the things he said?
Yeah, like
That's
Jim Ryan
crazy.
went to him and was like, "So," because he was like head of first party or something like that
Yeah.
at the time, and they're like, "You're either going to indies or goodbye." Like, and I was like, "Yo, that's crazy."
Yeah. The more time we have away from Jim Ryan and Sony, the more I'm like, he really was kind of like very not good for the brand.
that boy set up 15 live service games and then dipped, and the whole place is on fire. Like,
Shout out to I wish I remember the guy's name, but I saw someone on Instagram get a graded their copy of Concord graded, and they got, I think it was a 10, and that made me happy. So
excellent.
perfect
You can play a
thing to
game
have.
anyway.
I still need to get a copy of Concord. I haven't seen if the
That thing
price has
dropped
gone
in
down.
It dropped. I don't know what's
Okay.
going for now, but it dropped. Yeah, let's look it up. I'll
Yeah.
figure it out while you're
Yes.
talking about your game.
Look live. Do you still have your copy, Zach, or did you get rid of it?
Sealed. Yeah, I don't sell games. I just, if I buy a game, it's with me forever.
Forever.
Yeah, I don't sell games. So
The opposite of me. I've probably sold as
I have
many
two-
games as I own at
I
this
have too many
point.
bad
can get a
memories of
copy.
like.
You can get a copy for the low of $18.50.
Sealed?
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's go. It was like $90 for a while. Perfect.
Oh, wait, hold on. That one's kind of water damaged, though. I don't
Oh,
think you want that one.
imagine having a
that's
water damaged Concorde in your collection.
Water damaged, sealed Concord.
All right, so if you want like a pristine, like if you want that chance for a 10, $29.99.
Dude, new goal is to have a CGC or VGA or water graded 1 Concorde. That'd be excellent.
Grade the water damage. Yep. Buying it.
Smash it with a hammer before I send it in.
They send it back. It's like the first ever like 0.2 or some
God, that'd
shit.
be awesome. I wish. That's like there's a big subset of Pokemon collectors that collect ones. Like specifically, they get the worst condition possible because it's so hard to get a PSA 1. Because if a card's bad enough, they just won't grade it at all. So it has to be so bad, but not impossibly bad. It's like a very fine line. So
Dude, I want to grade that Ninja Gaiden box that I got. Like, I want to buy a shitty manual and a shitty cartridge.
get
and
it
send
graded.
it in.
But half the back of the box is graded or is ripped off. That would be awesome.
You can just see inside of it. You see the cartridge and everything.
Be awesome. All right, I guess I could talk about what I've been playing now.
Yeah, Craig, what you been playing?
I have been playing Pokemon Yellow, which we'll talk about much more next week. I'm about 4 badges in, so I mean, really, pretty much about halfway through the game at that point, because there's not too much side stuff in Gen 1, if I remember right, in terms of, like, you know, Team Rocket bases and yada yada yada. You know, I never played the Yellow version before, so I actually didn't know that you get the other starters, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of fun having all the starters.
You get them early too.
Yeah, but it is annoying because it's like, you know, all my Pokemon are level 20, then I get Squirtle and he's level 5, and I'm like, ugh, now I gotta work on that. So go ahead, Tyler.
Did you do the Mew thing? Did you get Mew?
No, because I forgot to look up how to do the glitch before it was too late. I already fought against
You
that
can
trainer.
do it. You can do it at one other point. I think it's in Cinnabar.
Oh, okay. Maybe I will then. But I don't know. I used glitches when I played through Crystal to get all the starters, and I was trying to be kind of glitchless for this playthrough, but I also don't know how much I care.
I mean, it's Mew. It's the only way to get Mew. I'd
true.
say that one.
True. But I'm not going to go
If
for
you're
the full
doing
Pokedex or anything anyway, so I very
He's not
rarely
playing
play
Pokemon
Pokemon
Zack.
games that way. Only
Pokemon
Pokemon
Zack.
game I did the full Pokedex for the regional was Pokemon Moon back in the day, so yes, sir.
Speaking of that, I don't know if you know this, not Pokemon Yellow related, but they're bringing back Iron Leaves and
Walking Wake.
Walking
No,
Wake
no,
this
it's
week
Walking
for
Wake, yeah.
Pokemon Week.
Oh shoot.
And I remember you said you still needed those.
Yeah, I am thinking about doing the Dex in Scarlet and Violet, so I need to play that DLC too, so
Yeah.
I also need to just get some more Pokemon cards. Shout out to the only card I have from Prismatic Evolutions. I bought this for $3, the Friends in Paldea. I really like these the Pokemon cards. There's I think 4 or 5 of them now where it's like kind of like all the main characters of our region on a card together. I always think those are cool. So we didn't get Friends in Alola in America though, so I need to import a Chinese copy because a Japanese copy is like over $1,000 and a Chinese copy is like $30. So I'd rather get the Chinese one.
Don't you think we'll eventually get it in English?
No, I mean probably not at this point. I mean Sun and Moon was a long time ago now, so and they've been doing these
they
friends.
only released it then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, released
I need
back
a
then.
Prince
So,
Moon, bro.
but yeah, I have that. I have the friends in Sinnoh, the friends in whatever. What's the Legends Arceus region? I always forget.
Hisui?
Hisui. I have friends in Hisui, and then the friends in whatever Sword and Shield is. I can't remember that either. So
Galar.
Galar,
England.
yes.
What'd you say?
England.
England.
But yeah, I'm enjoying my time with Pokemon Yellow. I think it would be much less enjoyable, honestly, if I didn't have the double speed, just because of how slow those games are. But it's a game of its time. It's okay. Now we have modern conveniences, so I don't have to worry about that. Next up, I have on here Soul Calibur. So I never played through the arcade mode of the original Soul Calibur, and I got it recently for the Sega Dreamcast. A lot of us played Soul Calibur 2 growing up, on the GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and all that. Most people played the GameCube version with Link, but the original Soul Calibur holds up super well. Controls great, looks amazing for the year that it came out in, and I've always been a low-key Soul Calibur fan. I think they have really cool really cool character designs, really like weird epic music, and I like that everything's kind of more weapon based. I think it's cool that it's like a weapon based fighting game. So, good shout out to Soul Calibur.
Did you play 6?
Is that the one with the Geralt? Or is that 5?
I'm pretty sure that's 6. It also has like 2B.
Oh, Zach, you're frozen.
Uh-oh.
He's frozen. We lost him.
He's like...
Uh-oh.
You're coming
He's
back.
slowly phasing back in. Now he's blurry. You
Right.
Might want to disconnect and try to reconnect, because you're like dead. Going at 5 frames a second. Alright. Our layout looks like shit for a second, but it's okay. Is he coming back? Is he on his way?
Hello?
Oh my god.
Oh,
You sounded like a sad robot.
Aw.
Oh no. It's always one of us, damn it. Oh,
has
but
been
yeah,
me.
not
for a
this
while.
time. So Tyler, tell me about your love with Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I haven't played the first one much. I want to get that on the Dreamcast. I don't have it on the Dreamcast yet. I played 2, played the GameCube one the most because Link OP as hell. I just like Zach's awkward smile frozen. It's
You
great.
keep freezing at the wildest frame, Zach.
He's like,
Oh, dang it, I thought you were back for a second.
so while Zach's awkwardly staring at everybody into your soul. He's
Is he back?
But continuing. He's getting strangled. Casper is in there, not being so friendly. Oh man.
Sorry to
frame
the audio listeners, but this is very funny if you are watching the video.
These are the perks of watching the recording video.
Yeah, you get Zach getting possessed.
I think we're kind of back now.
You want to try to talk, Zach?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Not
kind of.
really.
I mean, yeah.
Oh no. Telling you, man, it's always one of us. Something always got to go wrong.
Soul Calibur 3, I played a lot on the PS2.
I have no experience with that one, actually.
No, I played a lot as a kid. 4, I haven't played too much. That's the one with Yoda, Darth Vader, on the respective consoles. I think Zach's good now, by the way.
Yeah, I think your Mickey
hello?
Mouse ears worked.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
Do the impression so I know for sure.
Oh boy!
Yep, he's back.
Mickey,
Alright.
can you tell me your favorite Soul Calibur character?
Well, I don't know. I guess I like Link the most.
There you go, thank you. It's immaculate that you put on the ears and you're back.
Actually, I take that back. I love Spawn from the Xbox version.
Fucking nerd.
We have an episode where he talks like that all episode.
I feel like
No,
that'd be
please.
awful for your throat. I can't
could
be
talk like
comfortable to
that.
do that voice.
He could talk like that. I could try to talk like Cartman. I don't know who you could do. 5. I played a little bit of 5. And then 6 I played a good amount. But yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously I played 1, I played a lot of 2, and I played some 6 when it came out, but not too much. So it's like most of my experience is just with 2. I've always wanted to get more into the series, though, because I don't really know anything about 3, 4, or 5, so... But they had some really cool guest characters. They added 2B to 6, which was dope, so shout out to 2B. The character that, according to his creator, is canon to everything that she's in, which is really funny, so...
It's the coolest thing that it's canon to everything.
I love that. What I really want to get into is Guilty Gear Strive when they add Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's a guest character that's gonna make me buy a whole ass video game. So, but I've also just been messing around with my Dreamcast a lot. I got a lot of Dreamcast games which I'll show during pickups, and a lot of them came in super scratched, which I was worried about, so I had to test them all, and they all worked perfectly fine. So in that process, I discovered if you have a Dreamcast game and it looks like the worst scratches you've ever seen on a video game, it'll still probably work. They're just indestructible for some reason. So shout out to the Dreamcast and Dreamcast games. Also played a little bit of some indie games. I played some Frogun. Have you guys heard of Frogun?
I heard of it.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It's kind of like a PS1 N64-ish style looking game. It's a 3D platformer, very inspired by Chameleon Twist. You're like this little girl with a gun, looking for your parents in like a safari forest, and your just goal is to just get through levels with it has like different goals to get all the gems for the level. There's time limits, there's not dying, there's finding collectibles and all these different things. But the little gimmick that makes it fun is your little frog gun. So it kind of works like a chameleon tongue, where if there's an enemy, you can grab it with your tongue, pull it back, shoot it at another enemy. If there's a gap between platformers, you could use your gun to pull yourself towards it, so you could jump up, pull things, pull yourself towards stuff. It's a cute little game. I think I'll see it through to the end because it doesn't seem super long. It's not the greatest thing ever, but, you know, it's adorable to look at. It's fun, low poly eye candy, and the mechanics I think are pretty fun and unique. And the other game, well, the game I was super excited to try and I'm kind of disappointed in, honestly, and that is Super Sammy Roll. Have you guys heard of this game?
It sounds familiar.
No.
You're like a little dinosaur looking guy, and it's another 3D platformer game, but it's much more. I'm trying to explain this, like, because simplistic isn't really the right word to use, but it's minimalist, I guess, is probably a better way to put it. The goal of each stage is just to get to from beginning to end. Each one has like a collectible berry you could find. You could use those to unlock cosmetics and different things. But you are the little guy and you're just rolling around on the stage. You can't really walk or run. You turn to ball and you roll in the direction you want to go. It's very, very, very momentum based, so it's hard to get a grasp on the controls. Because it's not very tight since you're rolling in a ball the whole time. But
Yeah, the game looks great, by the way.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about it personally, and it might just be a skill issue because I'm getting my ass beat and I think I'm getting frustrated because I'm just not good at it. But I could see you guys liking it because I know you guys both like really challenging 3D platformers. So I think it would be down your guys' alley. I think it's on sale on PSN right now. I think I got it for like less than $15. It also has a tongue mechanic, actually, funnily enough, like Frogun. So you could use your tongue to clamp onto walls and pull yourself forward or jump over gaps. So your tongue can bring you forward, but you could jump out of that tongue grab to do like a little spin jump to get over things. So there's not a lot of moves or mechanics, but the level design is just very tight and precise. So there's a lot of experimentation. It's all about getting to the end as fast as you can. You get different scores, letter ratings, depending on how fast you beat the level. Definitely your guys' kind of game. Like, this is the kind of game that you two would be sending each other your times and bragging to each other and trying to outdo each other. So this definitely seems like a Tyler and Zach game, especially compared to a Craig game. But I think you guys would like this one a lot.
Speaking of that, Zach, you trying the new Astro levels yet?
I didn't even do the Christmas level yet. I'm behind on my Astro botting.
The Christmas level was so good. All those bots were great. I guess I still gotta do the new time ones.
I haven't played it at all since they added any DLC, so because I didn't want to re-download the game. I already uninstalled it, so I was like, I'm like, my time is done.
It's still $14.99, but I kind of want to get it.
I really think you guys would like it. It's like I said, it's totally a you and Zach game. So, and a lot of the levels have like secret exits to get bonus levels and secret levels and stuff. So, all that kind of stuff that you guys like in these kinds of games.
That's my wish list for now.
Mm. And then I've been playing a good amount of Cyberpunk 2077. I've just kind of been in the mood for like a big budget kind of like big AAA game, and I haven't played one of those in a while. I feel like. And I first played Cyberpunk 2077 at launch in 2020, and like a lot of people, I was disappointed with it. You know, it didn't run well, it didn't look great, didn't really feel like what was promised from CD Projekt Red at the time. But I've heard that they fixed a lot of things, changed a lot of things over the last couple of years with all the updates they did, and I definitely have changed tune on this game. I went from thinking it was pretty good but disappointing to absolutely loving it now. Everything has just been tweaked just enough to make it better than it was before. The driving feels better. The alerting the police, if you punch someone in the face, cops don't spawn behind you. Like, it's much more realistic now. And honestly, I think I'm just in a bit more of a different headspace than when I played it the first time. I'm in, I a different place, mentally, physically, all these different things. I have my game room where I could really sit down, turn off the lights and really be immersed in a game like this, and I'm just really enjoying it. I always really liked the character of V as well. Last time I played as a female V, I'm just playing as a female V. This time I just like the voice actor more is one of the main reasons. Nothing wrong with the male V, just a preference thing. I usually choose girls when I play games where you could pick your gender anyway. And it's just having a really good time with it. Having a lot of fun, trying to do as many side quests as I can, because the first time I played it, since I wasn't enjoying it too much, I did mostly just mainline the game. And now I'm trying to do, maybe not everything, but a lot more than I did the first time, and kind of really see the world. And, no fast traveling, I'm just driving around Night City to everywhere I'm going, because one of the main things is they fixed the driving, and the driving was really wonky in the launch version of the game, and it feels much better now, but absolutely loving it. And I love cyberpunk aesthetic. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is probably my second favorite anime of all time. My favorite book of all time is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So it's like I'm very much a fan of like cyberpunk as a concept. So I'm really enjoying it. Hoping my current love and passion for the game doesn't dwindle out, because I would like to beat the game again, try to get all the endings, all that kind of stuff. The platinum seems kind of doable, if not a lot of work, so I might go crazy and try to do the platinum, but we shall see. I'm not sure if you guys have ever played this game, so I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts.
So, I never played it. I own it, though. Funny how I got it, because this is kind of when it started getting better, so I was like, I kind of want to buy it, play it on the PS5. So I was out game hunting with Vinny. I was like up there visiting him and stuff, and we were going around the store, and I seen it at a store, and I was like, I kind of want it. He's like, don't buy that. And I was like, why? And he was like, yeah, just because it's bad, don't buy it. And I was just like, okay. Yeah, so I didn't buy it. And then eventually went back to his house, and he was showing me around his game room. I was like, but you have it? And then he was like, yeah, because you can have it. I don't want it. I was like, oh, okay. So I got it for nothing. Appreciate you, Vinny, if you're watching. Thank you. Yeah, I still got to get around to it, but...
Yeah, I wanna get the DLC too, because I've heard that the Phantom Liberty DLC is really, really good, and it has my boy Idris Elba in it. So
yeah,
I have also not played it, but when the game was at its lowest, I did buy this version of it for $5.
Me too, at Best Buy, right?
Yeah, Best Buy. Yep.
Because I remember I was annoyed. I was annoyed. I sold my copy, and then when Best Buy had it on sale again, I was like, "Well, it's $5 if I ever want to play it again." So I just ended up buying it again.
Yeah, so I got whatever this version is. It looks like it has some like collectibles in there. It's a World Compendium, stickers, postcards. I don't know.
Yeah, if you ever end up being like a big nerd about it, it does have a lot of really neat stuff that you could like actually read through, which is cool. So
yeah, maybe one day. I mean, it's not high on the list of like games I need to eventually get to, but it is on the list somewhere.
Yeah, and I feel like this could be depending on how you take it, either a compliment or an insult. You know me, I don't really like open world games that much, as I've talked about on this show before. I'm very picky with them, and this is some of the most fun I've ever had with it. So maybe my opinion matters more or less to you depending on that, but I'm having a really, really good time with it. So shout out to Cyberpunk 2077. And that is what I've been playing.
All right, so pickups, right? Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach. Show us your gaming pickups.
Scanning my desk for anything I might have. Oh, I got this. I got an HDMI to USB-C adapter. So now I can plug my Steam Deck into my my monitor.
Nice.
So I can play Steam Deck games on my monitor. So that's
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Oh.
So,
that's kind of fun. I didn't know that works so easily. I might need to do that too.
Yeah, so it's okay, so this I don't know what I'm talking about here. I went an Amazon Basics one. There was two versions. There was a 1080p 60 and a 1080p 30 frames per second. And the 1080p 60 was like $25, and this one was like $4 for 1080p 30. So like, sure, I'll just get that and see if it works. And I swear, maybe I just have a terrible eye for this. I swear the games are not running at 30 frames per second. It looks like they're running smoothly. So I don't know. But basically, I'm playing my Steam Deck as a controller, just plugged in my monitor.
For a bigger screen.
Battery dies very fast, but I can still play it like that. So.
Since you're playing on Steam Deck, couldn't you just do that advanced overlay and you could actually see what your frames are running at? I mean, if you know how to do that. But you can
maybe if the Steam it's I guess it's not about whether the Steam Deck is running. It's about whether my screen, if this
Yeah, but
is
I think if you
transferring
pop
that
it up,
to
you
it.
might see it from your screen on there, like on your monitor.
Maybe I'll try it. But either way, the games look smooth enough to me where it feels like if they are running at 30, at least it's not noticeable to me.
Yeah.
So
It is
I've also
fun
ordered
using
my indie
your
game.
portable PC as a regular PC, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So good $4 investment, and
Hell yeah.
it got here overnight one time. It was just like I would like one of these, and like it'll be here at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. It's like okay, sure. Thanks,
Perfect.
Amazon.
Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Tyler, why don't you show your pickups?
Or like pick up.
Whoa.
So, as y'all know, it was my birthday. I didn't buy anything these past 2 weeks. Your boy is recuperating, I guess. After not having a job for a month and a half, so I've been slowing it down.
It'd be like
I'm
that.
back working, so pickups are gonna resume. But my girlfriend got me the translucent red analog pocket.
Ooh.
Heck
So
yeah.
It's
there's
beautiful.
Craig, there's Zach,
What's up?
there's me.
Well,
But yeah, got 5 Sacred Stones in it. I
like
want to
it.
get those adapters that you can get.
Oh, for like Game Gear and Links and stuff?
Yeah, I want to get
Hell
the Neo Geo Pocket Color so I could try the Sonic one out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, if I got one of these, I was always like, I kind of want a translucent one because they're really cool. Hey, there it
It's
is.
a
You got
Game
the
Gear.
Game Gear one, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Why do you have the Game Gear one? Don't you have no Game Gear games?
Well, it's funny you ask that.
You gotta
Uh-oh.
pull out like Sonic
he
2,
got?
bro. Got Sonic
I
2.
have
Sonic 2?
I have two loose Game Gear games. I have Batman Returns
Oh, let's go.
That one got
and
Sonic 2.
the Lucky Dime Caper Donald Duck.
Oh, hell yeah.
Alright. Wow.
So I just wanted to get. I literally just went and bought 2 cheap Game Gear games from my store to test this. So
There you go. Dude, I'm telling you, Game Gear is an extraordinarily underrated library. I love the Game Gear.
I got a couple. I got Echo the Dolphin. I got Speed Trap, Sonic Triple Trouble,
Speed Trap.
Bugs Bunny, Rise Star, and Tails Adventure.
I used to have all of them, and now I'm a chump, and I have I think 4 or 5 Game Gear games. But they're complete in box, which is cooler than loose games. So
Yeah.
shout out to the Game Gear. Better than the Game Boy by a country mile. So I have quite a lot of pickups, actually. I've went both a little crazy over the last couple of weeks, and also I got some really good deals on some stuff. So first up,
Wait,
I got-
is that? Did you get all that's in that corner?
yeah,
Holy shit!
I told
It's the
you.
most I've seen Craig buy in one episode.
Exactly. Like I
My
said,
copy here.
a combination of really good deals and being a little zealous. But first
You
up,
gotta
first
do that to yourself.
First
Pretty
Vita
good.
game in a long time. We got Darius Burst's Chronicle Saviors. This is a limited run Vita game. So even though I'm done with the Vita set, I don't have all the limited run games. Still want to get them all eventually, so this is another one down. 45 out of 101. So I still
I
have
got
quite
that from the
a way to
from
go.
the blind box.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard this is a good game too, so I've played some Darius Burst games in the arcade before, so definitely excited about that one.
Yep.
Next up, a game that I've praised many times in this show, Arzette the Jewel of Faramore. I finally got a physical copy. It's one of my favorite indie games of all time. Has a nice manual, which makes me happy, so shout out to Limited Run for making their games with manuals, even though I hate Limited Run as a company. I bought the second hand, so they didn't get any of my money. Next up, a couple of Xbox games. I came across a random game store I didn't know existed, and they had some cool, cheap Xbox games. So, this is Tron 2.0 Killer App. Never heard of this before, but I just thought it looked cool. It's like a Tron FPS game. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, a big part of why I bought it is because on the back it says featuring music by Hollywood Records artist Breaking Benjamin, and I thought that was really funny, so that's a big part of why I bought it. Shout out to Breaking Benjamin. I got Counter-Strike, the original on Xbox, cool Xbox exclusive of obviously a very historical first-person shooter franchise. And then this I just thought looked interesting. It was only $10. This is Robin Hood, Defender of the Crown. It is a Capcom game that I had never heard of before, and it's just looks super interesting. Like looking on the back, it's like it has multiple endings, different paths dependent on the player's performance and decisions. And I was like, how weird! Some weird Robin Hood role-playing game. So I really want to actually play that at some point, because I was just like, it seems like it could be really cool and interesting, and I've never heard anyone in the world ever acknowledge that game before. So, could be something cool and fun. Next up, a 360 game that I got at GameStop, this was actually at that same game store. It has a GameStop sticker on it. This was Crackdown 2. I have Crackdown 1, so I figured I'd get the second one. I've heard good things about these games, so I want to try them out eventually. And low-key, the box art goes pretty hard. I think this is really cool box art, so kind of just a cool-looking display piece as well. And then, at my local GameStop, they had some very, very cheap Xbox One games that I can't play because I have an Xbox Series S. So these are definitely never actually going to be played. But cool games to own nonetheless. Sunset Overdrive, super, super fun game. I never finished it, but I really enjoyed it, so I want to actually go back and finish it one day. And then, because it's truly still exclusive to console, somehow after all these years, Halo 5. So, got me some Halo 5. And they came with inserts and this, which one is that? I think it's Sunset Overdrive has like an Xbox Live trial, which I'm sure is expired, but I always think it's fun when you find games that have Xbox Live trials in them. And then the big stack of cool shit. So I've got
the Dreamcast set.
I'm sorry?
I said my man said I ain't playing with the Dreamcast.
Hell
set.
no. I got some really good deals on some really good lots of games. So most of these came from I think 2 or 3 people total. But we got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Of course, a classic.
Never heard of it.
We got Hydro Thunder, which is one of my favorite arcade games. I played this. They had this at the Harkins movie theater in Peoria, Arizona when I was growing up. So, played this a lot at the movie theaters as a kid.
One of Jonathan's favorite games.
We got Trick Style. Know nothing about this. Looks like it's like a futuristic sports racing game. Looks like it could be kind of fun.
SSX Trick is probably better.
Probably. We have the original Tony Hawk, and this is the Sega All-Stars version. I'm kind of toying with the idea of getting all the Sega All-Stars version of games as well, because I think the orange spine actually looks kind of sick with the black manual, so kind of into that. Next up, Sega GT, and then Speed Devils, because there's just so many fucking racing games on the Dreamcast, it's insane. As much as I love the Dreamcast, most of the library is racing games and sports games.
Remember when Vinny found himself slipping on that variant?
What was that?
That variant of Speed Devils?
Uh-huh.
They
without the devil on the cover?
Yeah. Vinny found a store near me slipping on that for normal price.
Oh, that's cool. That's lucky. Yeah, that goes for I think a couple $100, so opposed to $15 or $20. So next up we got Virtua Tennis, so another sports game. And then we got Real Fishing Wild. Very exciting, very fun. I always thought it was weird. This just regular old series of fishing games has always been made by Natsumi. Just because it's not what you think when you think of them, but they've had these long going fishing games. Another sports game, NHL 2K. And then I already own this game, but I don't have the Sega All-Stars version, so I decided to get it because it was cheap. NFL 2K1. Then we got some of the better stuff here at the end. We got Crazy Taxi, of course, an all-time classic. I was playing through this. The disc was really scratched up, so I wanted to test it out, and I ended up testing it for an hour, just going through the arcade mode over and over and over again, because I just think the gameplay loop of Crazy Taxi is so fun. It's funny because I did not remember that every time you play this game, it's the same Offspring song that starts every single time. I didn't remember that it's always the same song in the beginning. I thought that, it was one of the many other songs, but every time you start, it's yeah, 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 yeah. So, then we got Rayman 2. I've been told by many people that this is the best version of Rayman 2, so if I ever decide to finally beat it, this is going to be the one. I grew up with the N64 version, so when I was testing this, it was so weird seeing it run it, it looked like it was at 60 FPS, and on N64, of course, it runs at 15 FPS, so I was like, man, it's so weird to see this game with, smooth textures and the smooth frame rate, and, having, way more sound effects and, some voice acting and stuff, so shout out to Rayman 2. Uh-oh, Zach's grabbing something. Does he have the N64 version?
Continue. I'll just be right back.
So continue.
And then, as I talked about before, Soul Calibur. Awesome game. Incredibly well how this game holds up in terms of graphics especially. Just looks incredible still. And then, last but not least, I got not quite a Dreamcast heavy, but a more expensive game that I'm excited to get out of the way. It was this is usually like a $70 game, and I got it for like $45, so I was happy to get a good discount on it. And that is Street Fighter 3 Double Impact. I believe Street Fighter 3 Alpha is also on the Dreamcast, and I think Third Strike. So there's a lot of Street Fighter on the Dreamcast, but I have one of them now. And there's just Capcom really supported the Dreamcast. There's so many Capcom Dreamcast games. But happy to have a good chunk of Dreamcast added to the collection. Like I said, I got all of those from like 3 total people or 3 total buyers. So that's my biggest tip if you're gonna go for a set is to buy in lots, because even if you get doubles, usually you get a discount and you can sell those towards other games you want. So
I was just gonna say the best version of Rayman 2 is the Game Boy Color version.
oh, perfect.
So all timer.
Have you actually played it?
Oh yeah, back when I had like the games that were supplied to me as a child, I had to play the ones that were given to me. So yeah, it's like a 2D platformer. It kind of sucks, but
It like actually blows, but it's fun.
yeah, it's not great. But
All right, so that's it for pickups. Definitely the most I've ever had on the show. So, I need to give my wallet a break soon. That's for sure. But Tyler,
Well, and he's cracking soon, that's for sure.
exactly, you fucking slacker. It's time for you to give us some luscious, delectable video game history, which is a segment of the show that might be cut soon because we're coming up on a year. And I don't know what we're going to do unless we just repeat
budget
ourselves.
constraints, stuff like that. I can't.
Can't support it anymore unless you send your Robux.
Yeah, we need Robux to fund the history.
Like I said, if y'all have any ideas for another segment, let's do it. We could do like a short little trivia segment. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Like I find some trivia questions, ask you and Zach.
Sure.
Just do like 5 or something like that,
And I'll fucking crush Zach every time.
and then we can just like keep score throughout. That'd be kind of neat. Maybe that.
Knowledgeless bastard.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyhow, history.
Stop looking so sad. No, put the hat back on.
Well, I can't wear the hat.
camera's gonna act up again.
I can only wear the Mickey ears when I'm happy.
Poor little Mickey. All right. February 12th, 2002. Sega releases Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, and
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I wish I
version-
ignored that. Yeah, but there was more written to it, and
Mhm.
I kind of just like have them posted from the site.
Mhm.
But obviously, this site doesn't know what they're talking about because they also said and PS2 and on the PS2.
Yeah, I never played that version until I was a full-grown adult, so I was one of the few that only ever played the Dreamcast version growing up.
Really?
Mhm.
I
So
played
it's
on
like
game.
it tripped me the fuck out the first time I went to the Chow Gardens and how different the Angel and Devil or the Dark and Angel Chow Gardens are compared to the Dreamcast version. It's so weird. I was like, "Where's the cool cave?" I'm like, "Where's my cool cave to hang out in?"
I guess I didn't pay attention how the Steam version the GameCube version.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't notice the cave I got the one I'm used to, I think,
hmm
when I played it.
Then, well, I just drew like a whole blank. February 14th, 2001. Nintendo announced the release dates of the Game Boy Advance, March 21st in Japan and June 11th in the US. Kind of brought this one up because I'm kind of glad that we're out of time now. We're like, we get worldwide releases and we don't have to like wait for everything anymore.
Yeah, the last major one I could think of in terms of like a mainstream game was Persona 5 coming out way earlier in Japan. Like I think it was like half a year still. And I was like, I can't believe that game didn't get spoiled like crazy for everybody over here.
Yeah, I remember when Pokemon games would come out and I'd be waiting like months. And I was like,
I was gonna say, up until recently too, didn't a lot of the Trails games still come out like way earlier in Japan?
they still are. Like
Still?
that game
Oh,
we
I thought
just
they
got-
caught up.
That game we just got, Trails of Daybreak 2, that's been out in Japan.
That's so funny.
They're like trying to catch up. They're like getting there.
Mhm.
I think I'm probably gonna butcher the name, but it's like Hainoseki, I think it's called.
Mhm.
That's the latest one. I think that one's out in Japan now. And then that's pretty much Daybreak 3, if I'm right. And then I think
Interesting.
4 is gonna end that series, so they're working on 4 in Japan, and we're gonna get 3 probably. with how fast they're doing it, probably the end of this year.
God, isn't Falcom's output insane for how small of a team they are?
Last year we got like 4 Trails games.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like
4
if
Trails
you
games, East 10.
yeah, it is a full-time job keeping up with the East and Trails games for sure. I don't know how people do it. It's like that
Yeah,
has to be all
also-
these people are playing.
We're also getting that like East versus Trails game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like East versus Trails in the Sky.
Interesting.
So it's like a brawler, like Smash Bros. Kind of thing.
That's kind of fun.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
down for that.
Also February 14th, 2005. I put this one in here for Zach. So do you know what day it was? Do you know what happened on that day? It's a very special time.
February 14th, 2005. So Valentine's 2004. I was 9 years old. Nope, no idea.
All right, that's when Nintendo released WarioWare Touch for the Nintendo
Oh.
DS.
I'm touched by that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
I'm
that
sure
game.
I'm sure Corey in the house is familiar with that title.
Yes. Shout out to the
2000
mini game in WarioWare Touch where you just jiggle a plate of flan around.
Hmm.
That was a good mini game.
Yeah. Touched has the one where you can actually blow into the microphone too. There's like games where you blow in the microphone.
2006, Square Enix released Grandia 3 for the PS2.
I always
Never
forget
played-
that exists. Nobody talks about that one. Makes me
Yeah,
wonder if
it's
it's
hard
actually
to.
any good.
So it's like that other Breath of Fire game, like Breath of Fire 5, I think it is.
Oh yeah, no one really talks about that one.
2011, Square Enix released Dragon Quest VI: Realms of Revelation for the DS. Still gotta get around to those.
One day.
In 2012, big day. It was a Valentine's Day. And that's when Sony released Twisted Metal for the PS3.
Hmm.
R.I.P. It's that franchise. One day, hopefully. But anyhow, moving along. February 16th, 2009, Nintendo released Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon for the DS.
One of the ugliest games ever made.
February
Yeah.
17th, 2009, Square Enix released Dragon Quest V: Hound of Heavenly Pride for the DS.
Oh, I didn't know they went out of order for those. Because didn't you just say it was 6 before?
Yeah.
The year is probably different though.
Yeah, but
Oh,
6 came out.
Duh. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, 2009,
I was like, why are they doing 6
2009 was
before 5?
5.
That's stupid.
and then 2011 was 6.
Yeah, don't listen to me. Sorry.
It's okay, we still love you.
Debatable.
February 20th. February 20th is when Zach's favorite game of all time came out in 2007. Sega released Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii in the US.
First Wii game I bought, or was purchased for me.
It was one of the first Wii games
and
I had too, and man,
Wii Sports, and then Sonic and Secret Rings.
when you
Yeah.
unlock those mini games though with like the other characters, that was kind of neat. But I mean, it wasn't the greatest. But
Yeah.
as a kid, you were like,
As a kid, I hated Sonic and the Secret Rings. I bought it with like birthday money, and I remember selling it back to GameStop pretty quickly.
I beat
Man.
the game. That's all I can say for it.
and then
Braver than the U.S.
February-
Marines.
Yeah.
February 21st, 2006, Sega released Sonic Riders for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube in the US.
Hell yeah.
And finally, Craig, this is your trivia. February 22nd, 2012. What came out that day?
February 2nd, 2012. I don't know.
That is when Sony released the PlayStation Vita handheld system.
Ah, there you go.
So Craig's a fake Vita collector.
I am a fake
Okay.
Vita collector, it's true.
But yeah, that was all. We're in the early months, so there's not really much
Yeah.
important. I just want me to
Nah.
go over all these other random titles, but I don't want to do that. I'm not trying to bore y'all too much.
Nah, I like the history lesson.
I think the trivia will be neat, though. I really
It'll
think
be
we should
fun.
do that.
Could be good.
We
Especially
can
if
even
you...
swap it, too, where, like, if I do 3 questions one week, and then Craig says them, and then Jack...
We'll figure something out. We got time.
Yeah.
Got a few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time for the topic of the show. Retro game collecting, or just kind of game collecting in general, but we try to keep things retro around here for the most part. So, Zach, why don't you tell us, how did you start getting into game collecting? Where did your fascination come with it? When did it come from? How did it come from? Why did it come from?
Cotton Eye Joe. So I've always liked buying games physically. I prefer to have games physically. I like what they look like. I like putting them on the shelves, having stacks of games. I didn't really get. I've always been like wanting to get really into collecting games, but I was moving a lot after I moved out of my hometown home. So I was always afraid of like buying a bunch of stuff and having to move it every time. Um, so I pick up like knickknacks. I have a bunch of knickknacks I have in this thing here. I don't know if people can see that. So like games themselves, I just have the games I play. So like I would buy games to play them, and I've collected all of those and brought them with me. But I haven't gotten really into buying a lot of retro stuff um, until recently. Um, but now that I'm in a more permanent location, I want to start filling the shelves. I started buying more games that, not with the express intent of playing them immediately. But that's right now. Most of my collection is games I bought to play and have played. Um, but
Tyler, how about you?
So, as a kid, I never really, I always loved games. I'd play them. But then I didn't really have much income as a kid, so I'd have to, trade my games into GameStop, yada yada, all that stuff. Kind of, to this day, regret that because, it'd be cool to have some of my childhood copies, but you live, you learn. You don't have
Mhm.
them anymore.
live and learn.
But then it all started actually from a viewer of this channel. So I became friends with Jonathan, and then long and behold, found out his dad was the one I was trading games into at GameStop because he originally worked at GameStop before.
That's
Doesn't
funny.
anymore, but uh, then it's funny now. Like before he was like, "Oh, this man freaking always coming in calling about trade values and stuff," and then long and behold, now we're friends. So it's kind of crazy coming around. But Jason, he's been collecting for a long time. We'll get to it later in his write-in. Um, but yeah, kind of always just whenever I'd go to Jonathan's house, I'd see all that. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I'd like to just start actually buying, keeping my games, get shelves, multiple freaking shelves. Um, and yeah, ever since then, I kind of just started buying it. It always changed over the years. Some things like I would just buy stuff I wanted, and then later down the road, I'd just be like, oh, I kind of want to get like the obscure stuff. So I'll get into that later, like collecting obscure things and stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of like where my collecting started and became, and where it is at now. Especially, I know I made it when I ran out of shelf space, and I don't know where the hell to put stuff anymore.
Hmm.
With over 2,000 games.
Yeah, so I got my want and need for collection really started kind of around the same time I started just getting into like older games in general. Um, I started getting more into like watching YouTube videos about people talking about old games I never heard of. You know, good old Gerard the Completionist. I saw his video on Earthbound, and that made me interested in that game, which got me interested in emulating. And I emulated and played a lot of Earthbound for the first time. And then sometime after that, I went to a local game store when I was visiting my friends in Arizona, and they had a copy of Earthbound. It was like $175, $180, something like that. And I was like, well, that's expensive, but it's really cool, and I really want it. And I just got like my tax return at the time, so I had some extra money, and I bought it, and I felt cool having this old, rare, expensive game. Rare. We could talk about that later too, but at the time, I was like, oh, the internet says this is rare, so this is rare. So I got it. And then I ended up buying a Super Nintendo so I could actually play it. Ended up getting some other games along with it, like Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World, Link to the Past, Mortal Kombat 2, stuff like that. Then it kind of just snowballed from there. I started wanting to just get more stuff, getting games for consoles that I grew up with. So GameCube and N64 were big ones. And then I remember the first big boy GameCube game I bought was Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. So I spent $110 on it, shipped from eBay. Came with all the inserts, all these other fun different things. This probably would have been like 2014, 2015-ish. And then, I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to own every GameCube game? Has anyone done that before? And I saw some people online that did it, and I was able to find a list. And then I became the monster that I am today, going for full sets and variants and all these crazy, stupid things I love to waste my money on. So wouldn't have it any other way. I think it's the funnest hobby that somebody could have. So.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, what would you say is your guys' approach to collecting? Like, how do you think about what you want? How do you decide what's worth buying, what's not? How do you limit yourself? All that kind of stuff.
Yes. So personally, my outlook right now is mainly killer, no filler. I'm not the kind of person that wants to finish a set. I don't want the random games, third party shovelware stuff.
Yeah, I'd be stupid.
Yeah. No offense, people who do that. That's
Yeah.
not the angle I'm taking right now.
Mhm.
I want to accumulate, first and foremost, games I like or know I will like,
Reality fighters.
and then, yeah, so I would never buy that. Uh,
Not even
hate
if
to
it was
say
a good deal.
No, that's the thing.
Dollar?
I'm,
It was in a dollar
I'm
bargain bin. You wouldn't buy it to put on the shelf?
I'm focused on buying the games I want, games that I know are good, and then I want to get all the first party titles for all the main systems. Not just Nintendo. Nintendo's a priority because I'm a Nintendo person,
Not little
first and
deviants?
foremost. But yeah, probably not Little Deviants.
But that's a
But
first
I
party
think-
game
First
for a
party
main
Sony
for a
game.
system. Yeah.
Sure. But down the line, like say I get all the games I want, I get all the first party stuff, I get all the games I want to play, I get all the well regarded games, then I will start buying more of the random stuff. But right now, it's for me, it's kill or no filler.
So,
My goal.
first party specifically or exclusives?
So like Nintendo, I have a list of all the games I am hunting for. So Nintendo, I want to get like all the big first party games, not just like exclusive to the console, but like I do. Oh, we're not listening to 12 Pikmin. Sorry, I'm just gonna stop that. I want to get like all the big games for each system, whether it's a game that got ported later on or not. I still want to get it for the original system.
Tyler, how about you? What's your approach?
So, it used to be just games I'd want to play, but then I became more of a monster, and it's just literally if something is rare or, well, define rare, kind of like Craig said,
Mm-hmm.
some people will say rare. You go on eBay, you could easily buy it. Then you got other things like this, which you can't find, and that's the stuff I like. The stuff that you can't easily buy, the stuff that's cool to have. That my Sega Fun Pack, stuff like that. I just really enjoy having those. Also, I don't know. I'm also a sucker if it's cheap, and if it's something, I'll buy it to add to the shelf. Quantity over quality, I guess. I'm more of a quality guy, but I don't know. I just like having more games. Get as many as you can, because eventually I still never completed a set. I always was like, I always want to complete a set. Still slowly working on Vita. Originally, I was like, I want to go for 64, and I was like, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. I was like, I want to go for Wii U, and I was like, eh. But now the latest one was Vita. But as y'all see from my pickups, I barely pick up Vita games. It's been a long time. But now I think is the time, because those prices really came down on Vita games.
A ton, yeah.
Like now, it might be a good idea. I waited.
No, now
But-
is definitely a good time for Vita games. A lot of even the most expensive games are at like an all-time low, like the Invisimals, the R No Surge Pluses, the Rose and Twilights. A lot of those are at like lows. So
Yeah. So I might have to get cracking on those. At least get some of the ones that like I know will be up there. Even though Vita games, like 80% of the library was like expensive at one point. So, but yeah, honestly, I just buy what I can. I guess if something's rare and you can't find much, I'm that guy to make an eBay save search and hopefully find it one day, and that'll be my cup of tea. How about you, Craig?
yeah, I don't really think I have an approach anymore. For a while,
Yeah.
I've gone through so many different phases. Like I was like, oh, I want to have full sets for all these different systems. Oh, I want to have every JRPG ever made. Oh, I want to have every Atlas game. Oh, I want to have every handheld game released in the United States. Oh, I want to have all these different things. And kind of like how I approach playing games, like where I'm like, I don't have a backlog anymore, I just vibe, and I've enjoyed that more. I'm kind of the same way of collecting now. It's like just all about vibes and stuff. If I walk into a store, I see a PS2 game I've never heard of, and I think the cover looks interesting, I'm like, whatever, I'll buy it, and we'll try it out. Or we'll put it on the shelf and maybe try it eventually one day, but maybe never. I don't really care. Anyone that collects a large volume of video games and says they play all their games is full of shit and don't believe them, they're definitely lying. Nobody has that time. Nobody does. Unless you're unemployed, then how are you buying those games in the first place? I don't know. Maybe they're doing some WADA money laundering or something. I don't know. But it's just pretty much vibe based. I've gone for sets. I've sold sets. I've gone for things just because they're rare and collectible and ended up selling them or keeping them. But my main focus now is kind of really just whatever I feel like. I don't really have a focus. I'm going for the Dreamcast set. And I think that's something that I'll always do, is I think I'll always probably be approaching a set of some kind as long as I'm in this hobby, because I just enjoy that aspect of collecting video games. I think full libraries are cool. They obviously take up a lot of space, a lot of money. You end up with a lot of games that you don't care about, will never play. They're just going to take up space. But you know what? I don't think there's anybody else in the world right now that's clamoring to play NHL 2K on the Dreamcast, so I don't really think I'm taking away anything from anybody either by owning that, I'm almost doing game stores a favor getting that off of their shelves, because it's probably not going to get bought anyway. But yeah, I my approach right now is kind of just, like I said, just kind of just vibes, whatever I feel like, but definitely right now, obviously, for me, the focus is Dreamcast, since I want to go for the full Dreamcast set. But after that, it's like, I've always wanted, I would love to recomplete the GameCube set one day. I would love to have a Sega Saturn set one day. That would also be very expensive and hard, but it's like, for me, full sets are kind of just the vibe. I think it's really cool and really fun way to collect. Yeah, yes, sir.
I've always thought about set collecting. I'm kind of a sarcastic, stupid person.
No.
And the set I always like, joke about wanting to collect, because I'm intrigued by the console itself, is the Virtual Boy.
Uh-huh.
Like I do want a Virtual Boy. I want to have it in my collection. I want to get some of those games. And it's like, oh well, it's only like 20 games. I could get it. I just double checked, like, what's Jack Bros going for these days? And I didn't realize that game was thousands, like in the 4 digits. I just assumed that, oh, it's like probably like $700-800. No, like this one. Someone has it listed for $2,000 right now.
Is it just the cartridge?
No, it's the whole. It's apparently the whole thing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I've done a whole lot of research in this game, but I was assuming we're talking hundreds of dollars. I didn't realize we're talking in the 4 digits for that game.
It's a big boy.
Yeah.
I remember when I found it locally many, many years ago. They got it traded into the store by me, Retro City Games, and it was like, I think it was $700 at the time for a complete copy, and I was like, that's crazy. I was like, maybe one day, but this is too expensive, and now it's almost tripled in price, and I'm like, well, should have bought it at $700. Should have put it on a credit card, because now I'm never gonna own it.
There's one here, the complete in box with a registration. I guess as a registration card. I don't know.
Perfect.
13 watchers, $2,800. It's like, okay, well, well,
buy it now. Buy it now, coward. Get it out of the way.
Speaking on like that, one thing about this hobby is the pricing lately, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like some stuff's just nuts. Like back in the day, I remember like how you said you spent 110 on your Fire Emblem Path of Radiance.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was collecting, Path of Radiance was like the first game I actually spent like a lot of money on as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was at this like toy show and I walked up to this table, and this is when I was first getting into Fire Emblem because it was like around the time Awakening came out.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I kind of want to get the other ones, play the other ones. And then this guy had Path of Radiance on the table, and it was $100, and I was just like, that's a lot of money. I was like, that's the most I ever spent on a game. Look at me now. It's definitely not. But, like, with the way it changed. But I was like, all right, here we go. $100. I'm walking away. Not looking back. Yada, yada. And just to think now, like, what's that game go for? 300 maybe?
I have no idea, honestly. Do you have price charting open, Zach?
I can open real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, check Path of Radiance. But, like, yeah, just stuff like that. But now there's some games that were, like, really low. Pokemon, for an example. I think Pokemon games are ridiculous.
Oh, they're disgusting.
I remember
cartridges now.
I remember getting my Pokemon Emerald complete for $45. Like, got that for $45. Got Fire Red and Leaf Green for less than $50 each. Now they're all like $300, $400. Emerald's like $1,000.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I'm just like, dude, this is insane. Especially because, like, that's another thing I want to do. I want to complete, like, all the mainline Pokemon games, including Pokemon Box, one day. I mean, it's not mainline, but I want to get, like, spin-offs, too.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, like, the only mainline ones I still need are Yellow and Blue, but I've been hesitant so long because they're just so expensive. I mean, I kind of splurged a little bit when I went to Texas back in October with you guys, when Pokemon Silver.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing was nice. It had all the inserts and everything. I was like, well, gotta do it. So... So I did that.
Looks like
But good.
looks like Path of Radiance is according to price charting, complete $221 right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's actually gone down a little bit.
It has, yeah. That it's definitely got.
I
I think
passed
it's gone up
Radiant
close to 300 at some point, and then it kind of went back down again.
It did cross 300 in 2023.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That is one thing. Like, a lot of games aren't quite COVID prices anymore. Like, some came down a lot, but it's not at the point to where it was. And I don't think it's ever going to hit that point
No,
again.
yeah, it's like
I
Rule of
mean-
Rose was like 300, then it spiked up to like 900. Now it's at like 600. So it's
Yeah.
like it went down a lot, but it's still expensive, right?
Yeah, and there's some games like Saturn Bomberman that was going for a lot, but when I bought it, it was like 500. At one point, it was going for like 800. Klonoa on PS1, that's another big one that was going for like 700. I got that for like 360.
hmm
Like,
I got that for $10
you
in a raffle on Instagram.
Man, you don't own it anymore, do you?
No, when I needed some money, unfortunately, I sold it, and I think I sold it for like 300. I put it in for like on eBay Buy It Now, and it bought like the second I posted it. I was like, I probably should have asked for more.
Damn.
Yeah, I just checked price trading for Jack Brothers. And right now I'm price trading loose 675, CIB 2075.
Perfect.
It's like, oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
You
go
gonna
buy
go
it
for that
now.
Virtual Boy set?
Get it out of the way. That way, the rest of the set's easy for you.
Something
Yeah.
happened in April of 2021 where the CIB and loose, so CIB was 811 and loose was 600, and then a month later, the CIB went from $800 to $2,000. I don't know
Jesus
what
Christ.
happened in April of 2021.
Everything's what
Came
fucking
out and
nuts.
they're like, we're never porting Jack Bros. And everybody's
Hey,
like,
you know what? It's the first Shin Megami Tensei game of any kind we got in the States, so it has some historical significance too.
that'd be cool to like actually play.
Um,
I tried a Virtual Boy once, and it was okay. They play like Mario Tennis or something, but
I've played it on an emulator, and I couldn't really figure out what to do, so I didn't really play it much. But
well,
shout
your
out to the
problem is you're
Virtual Boy
playing it an
emulator on the
emulator.
3DS, because that's like the perfect thing ever. It's so cool.
Man,
So what is, Tyler, you say, obviously 100 wasn't the most you've ever spent on a game. I'm going to ask you, what is the most you spent on a game? Gonna make you out yourself right now.
Hold on, I gotta think. Hold on, let me look at my Game app. I'll probably be able to tell then. I
Zach,
don't
do you have
know
any
offhand.
idea?
It's
No.
probably gonna be like $70.
Actually made a goal, like I made a 2025 collecting goal to buy a game that was over $200. I don't know if I've actually bought anything super expensive before. Like my most expensive game that I own is just my complete in box Pokemon Emerald that I just bought 20 years ago.
Yeah, you got it when you were a kid, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have anything outstandingly expensive, honestly.
hmm
Yeah.
Mm.
But I want to change that. Maybe I'll buy Jack
Honestly,
Brothers.
like,
Right now, buy the Jack Bros.
Apparently, a graded one sold at Heritage Auctions in 2024 for $20,000.
Holy shit. You should just buy that one. Your wife will understand.
Yes, it's a down payment for a second house.
And you're like, but I got
think
this
it-
instead. And she'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Oh, cool. That'll appreciate in value, I'm sure.
I think it might have been the Saturn Bomberman, which at the time was like 500, but I used a lot of trade for that.
hmm
Like I traded a bunch at one table. I ended up getting a Harvest Moon cart for SNES, and then went to another table, traded that, and used that and some cash for it.
hmm
But straight cash, it honestly might have been Klonoa with 360. I don't recall ever spending more than that. So I get Pokemon box. So we're like, take my money.
Are you
But
going to get the big box version?
I want to, but I don't know
I have
about
just
all
the
that.
big box for you if you want to piece it together.
Just get the Japanese Pokemon box at $60. It looks cooler. It's like
It does not look
holographic.
cooler.
It is
Um,
pretty
It does. You look. It looks way
it-
cooler.
No, dude, I just something with that English Ruby Sapphire art. I just can't. Like,
No, it looks way cooler. All
you're
Japanese.
saying that
games-
'cause you don't have a North American Pokemon box.
No, that's a boring ass box, and the
Craig,
Japanese one.
Craig
is
has
awesome.
half a box, and it's fucking beautiful, dude. When I went to his house, the first thing I did was take a photo with it. Like,
That's true, he did. I think he took a photo of my Barbie Groom and Glam pups. Too.
yeah, I took a photo with Barbie. I took a photo with that and the duo pack, just so I could be like, I held these.
Shout out to the duo pack.
which one's on sale right now on eBay for bidding.
There's one on sale right now. It's on bid. It's in awful condition, and I think it's at like 1,200 right now.
When I was looking, I seen how sun faded the one spine was. I was like,
Yeah, the spine is sun faded. Half the front sun faded. The corners are beat to shit. The sticker like looks like it got wiped on somebody's asshole. It's in rough shape, but it's one of those things where it's like it is so rare that I think a lot of people wouldn't even care what the condition of it is. They'd rather just have it, period. So they're just willing to spend the money. But I don't know.
What's the most you spent on a game, Craig?
$880 on my complete in box Pokemon box. But I then sold my extra copy of Pokemon box because I had a copy already. I was just upgrading to a big box copy, and I sold that for $600. So it's like I kind of only spent $280 if you look at it that way. Other than that, it would be because I did pay straight up without like doing any trading or selling on top of that was Barbie Grim and Glen Pups. I did pay $725 I think for that, which really hurt because 2 years before that I saw a brand new copy for like $200 and I was like, oh, that's too expensive. I'll wait for another copy to go up for sale. And then I didn't actually see another copy for 2 more years until I bought my copy. So talk about a game that's actually rare. Barbie Grim and Glen Pups is actually fucking rare. It's like you can't just find that game. You have to actively search for it. And I ended up getting it off of some dude on Facebook from Canada. That could have went horrible. I was really trusting that guy.
That's the other thing. When people are saying games are rare, like, oh, I got, I don't know, like you said earlier, Earthbound, rare game. Like, you can go on eBay buy that any day of the week. Mm-hmm. But then you got things like Barbie, like the Atari Masterpiece Volume 2. You got your Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls Combo Pack, just stuff like that, where you don't see it every day and barely see it at all. That stuff's cool to me. That's kind of why like I feel a fascination to like the N-Gage, because 80% of that library you can't find. Like you gotta have a safe search for it. Like I remember this one when Christian texted me and he was just like, "Hey, I'm at this table and they got like every N-Gage game." I was like, "Is there anyone?" I was like, "Oh yeah, every N-Gage game, but they don't have Atari Masterpiece Volume 2." He was like, "Oh yeah, they do. It's this much." And I was like, "What?" I was like, he was like, "You want it?" I was like, "Yeah." And then fast forward in October, same N-Gage vendor was there, and I bought a crap ton of N-Gage games again.
Yes, you did.
I still need to contact him to buy the others that I needed. But
yeah, it is fun and fascinating. You know, I talked to our buddy Christian Birddog about that a lot. It's like we both are very into just like collecting rare stuff, even if it's absolutely worthless. Like if I see a game I've never heard of my entire life is $5, and I look it up and there's like no copies on eBay, or like very few sold listings on Price Charting, I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it because it's cool, because it's rare, not to actually resell it or do anything like that.
That's why I own. Hey, there's my dad. That's why I own.
He's sneaking in. He has a gift. Surprise appearance.
We got Avatar: Last Airbender complete on DVD.
Let's fucking go.
The complete book 1 collection.
Hell yeah! Shout out to other Craig.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Big Lots going out of business, so it was a discount.
Oh, R.I.P. Big Lots.
Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know.
Crap. I don't even remember.
It's okay. That was an important interruption.
I do remember my most expensive game I've ever purchased. And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it at all.
What is it?
The Epic Mickey Collector's Edition I bought for $250 last year.
Holy shit.
Or $225, something like that. I think that's my most expensive game.
It's expensive.
Give it the statue.
Do you love the game? Is it worth it?
Game's fine. I like the statue.
It is a really cool statue, to be fair.
Yeah, I have lots of stuff in like the 100 to 200 range. I don't think I have anything above like 225, 250, honestly.
Except for your emerald.
Zach, I have a question. When are you going to get to the point where you log your collection into an app?
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't do that.
I don't know. I just don't know if I care about that.
You're going to want to eventually.
Yeah, the more you get, because as soon as you buy a game you already have, you're going to be really annoyed with yourself, and that is the worst.
But I like nothing more than to walk up to my shelf. I love having these shelves and like looking at my games.
Yeah.
And every time I would just go. I want to go. I want to walk
like
to my
out
shelf.
somewhere, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this. I don't think I have it, and you go home. You're gonna go put it on your shelf. You're gonna be like, shit. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if I'll run into that issue, man.
I think
I'll
you will.
go.
His collection is much more curated than ours, to be fair, Tyler.
Yeah, he got shit unorganized and stuff, and in alphabetical order. But
Very
oh,
organized.
also one thing I was gonna mention is the Duo Pack right now on eBay.
Uh-huh.
So we got 8 days and 3 hours left. By the time you're watching this, it's gonna be 6 days and however many hours left, or
Mm-hmm.
5, depending what time you watch it. It is at $1,225.
Mm-hmm.
19 bids. So get
Yes.
your bids in, folks. If you end up winning it, you could be a guest on the show and talk about why you bought it. Uh,
Can he? Can they? Can she? I don't know about that. I don't
I
know if
think
that's interview worthy. I have a copy. No one's wanted to interview me about it.
well, we could talk about your copy right now.
I guess we can. It is, the most valuable video game in my collection. It's new. It's hard to put a value on, but it's like new copies are sold for 5,500 recorded. My copy is not new; it is opened, so I don't know how much of a difference you could say that makes. It's still obviously thousands though, which is absolutely crazy. I did not spend money on it. I traded towards it. Um, because there's no way the person wanted basically I think he asked for $3,500 and he found it he got it in a like a Facebook marketplace listing for like 20 GameCube games and it just happened to be part of it and he got it for like all the games. I think it was for like less than $100, so it's like he really made out like a bandit either way. And he found it, according to him, he found it that same week that those two sold for over $5,500. And he was just like, oh, he's like, I had no idea what this even was until I looked it up and saw those sold listings. So he's like, so I don't give a fuck about it. Someone else is going to pay a lot of money for it. And he posted it on a Facebook group. I believe it was the high-end game collectors Facebook group that I am a part of because I like seeing all the crazy deals go on that Facebook page. And he posted about it, and a lot of people are like, whoa, that's cool, that's crazy, but nobody wanted to buy it. And I was like, please message me. I've been looking for this for like 4 years, and I want it really bad. And he was like, okay, this much money. And I was like, would you trade for anything? Because I'm not going to spend that much money on a game, like, being real with you. And he was like, well, what do you have? And I was like, well, I have a full N64 set. I was like, I have, like, all these complete box Super Nintendo games. I'm like, tell me what you want. And he, like, listed out everything he wanted out of these. And he basically took, like, basically, like, the top 10 most expensive N64 games, which at the time were much less expensive than they are now. Like, at the time, Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut was, like, maybe $300. Now there's, like, $1,000 cartridge. So, in terms of the value of the games, at the time it was more fair, but it's like, if we were to do that trade now, it's like I probably could have kept, like, 3/4 of the stuff I traded this guy. So, we traded. I mailed the stuff to him. He mailed me the game. And then I was just very happy. He was very happy. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I remember at the time I was like, man, I'm getting rid of all this really cool stuff, all these cool games I have. Like, it was like a bunch of Super Nintendo JRPGs complete in box and all these different things. And I remember talking to a good pal of mine, Antonio, who works at the game store in my town. And I was like, like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I should. And he was like, let me be real with you, Chief. And I'm like, sure. He's like, you're not going to find this game again, let alone somebody that's going to want to trade for it. He's like, if you don't do this, you're probably never going to find it again. And I was like, that's fair. He's like, all the stuff you're selling might be expensive, but he's like, but you could buy any of this shit any day of the week. He's like, the Duo Pack you're not going to find again. And I was like, that's fair. You're right. I'm probably not going to find it again. And, since then, copies have sold on eBay, but on much worse condition and still for very expensive. I've only seen like 2 other copies go up for sale since then, and that was, 5-6 years ago now. So it's been a long time. Value-wise, obviously the other guy ended up winning in the long run because a lot of those games have probably doubled, tripled in price. But I got the game that I wanted. I got a game that was very rare, hard to find, that you very likely will never come across in person, barely ever even come across it online. It has like 5 sold listings. Like, I think it's gone on sale on eBay 4 times, like, basically ever. So it's like, this game really is impossibly rare and hard to find. So I'm happy about it, and I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard somebody say once, they're like, if you're doing a trade and, both people are happy, the value doesn't really matter because either way, both parties are satisfied. And I'm like, yeah, I think that's the more important part of it. And I'm still happy, still proud of it. I'll probably never get rid of it. and it really is kind of like one of like you know, a top three kind of like crown jewel of my collection kind of thing, because it's like, you know, for a long time I was like, you know, in my circles at least of like, you know, friends online and all, that the GameCube guy, and it's still probably my favorite home console to this very day, and still one of the most fun consoles to collect for. I still love collecting GameCube variants and different things. So and is the longest I ever searched for a game before I was able to actually find it. You know, for many years, people didn't even know if this thing existed. And I was one of the people online constantly searching for it and researching it and trying to find out any information about it. You know, messaging people that like left Amazon reviews on it and different things like that. Like I was trying to get confirmation that this thing existed. So when it finally came to be, it was, you know, very disheartening to see those first two copies go up for sale for $5,000. I was like, oh, I guess I'll never own this. And then, you know, 2 weeks later, I ended up getting a copy. So, the hobby works in mysterious ways sometimes. So, sorry for the long rant, but I figured I'd explain it a little bit.
Hey man, I enjoyed that.
There's a duo pack on the GameCube that I want to get. I want to get the Metroid Prime Wind Waker one day.
Very
That
expensive.
weird, like, yeah. I just checked.
Best Buy exclusive.
Is that what it was? Is that why
It came with a Black Friday console bundle.
Gotcha. Yeah, price trading has it like at 700 something right now.
I got mine for
expensive.
like 150.
Yeah,
Damn. The one thing I really want on GameCube is
I get a loose copy of it.
I want the Coliseum that comes with the bonus disc, like by itself, or not by itself, but like in the same.
I got that,
What?
I think, for like 200. I think that's like worth like 900 now. It's crazy.
I had a chance to buy it for $3, and I passed it up.
Ah, you should have got it.
Yeah,
That's a crazy
What?
variant. Yes, sir.
Does price trading have loose sales of the Metroid Prime Zelda Wind Waker combo pack?
I know, isn't that funny? It's really stupid.
But like, does that make any sense? Are the
No,
discs
because there's no difference on the discs. It's literally just
Okay.
a loose disc of each.
I'm confused. Okay, sure. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Yeah, but no, yeah, anything GameCube, you know, it's like I don't have the full like 554, 558 Black Label set anymore. But I did keep all of my Player's Choice games. I kept all my variants and big boxes and stuff, so I still have like all the really hard to find stuff. But eventually, I would like to have the full set again. I think it would be cool. I'm just not in a rush because there really isn't any rare GameCube games in terms of like the regular all set. Busted Move 3000 is the only one I would argue is actually kind of rare. But other than that, everything else on there you could pretty much get any day of the week. It's just a matter of spending the money on it.
it's true. Does it feel like different? Like, I don't know. Like you owned a whole set once, and now you're buying it again. Like,
That's a big part of why I'm not in a rush, because it's not that it's not as fun the second time around. I'm just like, I don't want to spend the money on this again, and not only that, spend triple the money on it again, basically. Because, you know, when I finished the GameCube set way back when, if I had to, like, guesstimate, like, maybe max, like, $5,000 for the whole set. Maybe. And I think right now, if you were to buy every GameCube game, that's probably closer to, like, 20,000. Like, it's exponentially more. Exponentially more. So it's like, it sucks, you know, it's like, oh, I got Gacha Force for like, I think like maybe $160, $170. It's like, that's like $600 game now. It's like, that's not nearly as enticing as it once was. So it's like a very slow burn goal. You know, plenty of these games have the copies going around.
like,
And I'm not in a rush. Like I said, I could get them at any time. It's more about just wanting to spend the money on them, and it's kind of more fun to do. You know, it's like I work on the Dreamcast set now, and it's like it's kind of more fun to like be doing something like that with a different library. You know, at one point I had a ton of Dreamcast games as well. I had to sell them when I had like an issue with like my health insurance, and that was scary, so I needed the money. But I never finished the full set, so it's kind of different, you know. With Dreamcast, I think I got to like 100 and something, like low hundreds. But there's 250 games, so it's like there's still like 140, 150 games that I didn't ever actually buy for it. So it feels a little bit different than the GameCube set where I had all 500 and something and then trying to get them all again. So
like how you brought up, it's not that it isn't fun, like recollecting a second time. That's kind of where I thought about maybe like it wouldn't be, because I don't know. One big thing for set collecting, I think. I mean, obviously having completed a set, you completed more, so you'd be able to vouch more. But like, the fun in discovering games that
Oh,
you never heard
100%.
of before.
The discoverability
and-
is such a big part of it. You're like, oh, I never heard of this.
Yeah.
What is this?
But then when you do a console game, you're like, oh yeah, I know that one. Oh, I know that one.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, I don't know, not repetitive in a way, but like you get what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Like you're more
Yeah,
familiar with
the
it.
surprise
It's kinda
factor
like,
isn't there.
Yeah.
Like when I was crazy and I was going for a Wii set, even though I gave up on that.
that's insane.
It's like I got about 700 Wii games in before I gave up on that, and
Where
it's
can
like
you store that, bro?
I didn't have a floor in my closet, and then after a while, I was like, I'm kind of tired of this because I still lived at home with my folks, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I have nowhere to live, so I just ended up getting rid of almost all of it.
You should have like remade the meme, or not the meme, but like the part from SpongeBob where it's like him and Patrick taking care of like baby clam, and he's like,
tearing down the walls of Wii games. But that was super fun because it was like, it's like there's like maybe, and this is being generous, maybe 60 Wii games that anyone could name off the top of their head, and the other like 1,200 are a fucking mystery to most people. So it's like almost every Wii game I was buying, I was like, oh, this is weird, oh, this is new, never heard of this, never seen this. And when the library is that big, especially, it's like there's so many rare titles that no one knows about, no one cares about, and they're dirt cheap. So that was a fun experience. It's like now that I have my own space, my own shelves, more room, I'm like, I still wouldn't do it again. But
I don't know. I could see like that backdrop. If you move that out a little bit, the futon, you could fit like a nice Wii collection right there. The whole
Nice.
wall.
the
Wall of
whole wall.
white spines.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
one red, one yellow. The occasional.
The
You
occasional
had the
weird
little-
colored one.
You can get like a power bike, wherever the hell they call it.
Oh, yeah.
Bike or whatever it is.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, like that.
Do y'all prefer when spines have unique color or one solid color?
I like
Unique.
unique. Like I like that's part of why like with Switch games it's like obviously I'd prefer to buy physical over digital, but I'm neither here or there because I really hate the sea of red, I always call it. I think it's very unappealing looking. And the
Yeah.
Wii kind of has a similar problem, not as bad, but like if I see a wall of PS2 or GameCube or original Xbox, I think that's the most appealing looking.
Yeah.
Like where it's like it has the consistent logo and then the inconsistent unique design for each game. I think that's the best way a video game could look.
Yep. I really like what like my PS5 games look like. Has the white label up top and then they
Oh, it's
all
fire.
look
I love the
very
white
different.
label and the blue box. That was a good choice on Sony's part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I'm a little biased, but favorite game casing has to go to the Vita for me. I love the little, it's like basically a mini PS4 case. I always thought that Vita games had a really fun little case. They just look like cool little collectibles in my eyes, so love me some Vita.
But then I hate when you got companies like this talking to you, Square Enix.
Oh, I hate that. That's so lame. I'm not a fan of that either.
Friggin'. Oh.
Sega's been doing that a bit too lately. Like all the Sonic games have like a plain like gray and
Like
white
gray.
font. Yeah, not a fan of that. Got to work on that Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Sonic Frontiers I'm looking at right now is looks like a black spine with white letters.
Yeah, it's pretty bleh. But I was gonna say another fun thing to do though, in terms of like if you were to be crazy like me and Set Collect, think about your favorite genre, and then think about a console that's well known for that genre. For example, the Vita again for me. So many role playing games and JRPGs and dungeon crawlers and things on the Vita. So for me, that was an awesome set to collect in terms of like games I actually think I would like to play one day because there's so many. Yeah, Reality Fighter's an all-time classic, but it's like the majority of Vita games are like Japanese visual novels, Japanese fighting games, or Japanese RPGs, dungeon crawlers. So all that kind of stuff is super cool. So that's something good to keep in mind. Oh yeah, Tyler is a man of culture, as we all know. So with his center
Every time I go-
Back, dude.
Every time I go to the Vita
Jesus
section
Christ.
at my game store, I feel a little perverted. It's like all the games they have on display are just like I can't stare at this section too long, or that people are gonna start wondering what I'm doing over here.
I always laugh because our friend Christian says that every Vita game has the same cover, and ever since he said that, I'm like, man, you're not really wrong.
Zach, you gotta get this one. That's pretty much girls that are Transformers.
Oh my god, that game is so stupid. It's so funny. They turn into cars. It's great. You don't have a Vita yet, huh?
I don't.
God, you're missing out. You gotta
Oh,
get
good.
one. Gotta get it, and then you gotta
I'll
play
do it
through.
eventually.
you got to play through my second and third favorite game of all time on it. Gravity Rush and Persona 4.
Yep. I don't know what I'll play Persona 4 on. I have options now. I can play it on my Steam Deck. I can play it on my
Yeah, it's
Switch.
on everything now. So I
Yeah,
was gonna say, if
PlayStation.
you want to do the Platinum Trophy, it's very, very time consuming. So it might be more appealing to play it on the console where you're not tempted, like the Switch.
Sure.
Because for the Platinum, you have to play through it twice, which is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Another thing you could do if you're collecting and want to do a set collecting, but a smaller set, you could be like Craig and go for the Player's Choice from the GameCube.
True. Or I was gonna say the DSi. There's only 3 games exclusive to DSi. I have those.
I can see
Well,
that
like
being the next set.
The one set I did, subset, I did all the WarioWare games. I have all those. That was the first. You know, I do like the idea of like subset collecting.
Is there any other ones you thought about trying to go for?
I would
Like
like
probably
to get all the
Fire Emblem, right?
I'd like to get all the Fire Emblems. I need to reacquire my Radiant Dawn that my friend borrowed. I think I've told a story about my Path of Radiance that guy borrowed.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you told on the show, but you've told us personally if you want to say it again.
Basically, a friend of mine borrowed Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn in like middle school, and I just thought they were lost to time. I forgot where they were, and I mentioned on a stream one time that I had lost my Path of Radiance, and he just happened to be there, didn't say anything to me, and then just mailed me across the country because he was in Colorado at the time. Just mailed me across the country my Path of Radiance in a bubble mailer. So I just get this random package. He didn't put his name on it. He put like some made up stupid name. I'm like, what is this? I open up a Path of Radiance. I was
You're
like,
like,
what the hell? I was like, what the hell is this? It turns out it was mine. That he had but he lost my Radiant Dawn, so I need
Like,
to
happy
reacquire that.
birthday, here's your game.
Did you recognize that it was your old copy or no?
I did not until I mentioned it, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, that was me. That's yours." And I was like, "Oh," and I realized, but
Is that
It's
the
like,
same
that's-
guy with Radiant Dawn, or?
yes, and I asked him, "Do you also have my Radiant Dawn?" He's like, "I'll go check next time I'm home," and that one's gone apparently.
That's
But
funny.
Radiant
'Cause
Path of Radiance is more expensive, so I'd rather get that one.
I was gonna say that's actually something funny that's happened to me before. Was I've sold a lot of games over the years too, and there's been times where I've sold games and I've seen like random people have it at some point, like on Instagram stuff. Like I sold it to a store, someone bought it, and then I see them post it on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, or I've sold it on eBay, and it's like it's packed through 1 or 3 people, but it's like this community is the online, especially like the Instagram game collecting community, is much smaller than you'd think. And it's funny because it's like there's certain things where I'm like, oh, I recognize that imperfection on that Game Boy Advance game. That was mine.
It's
And I
funny.
think it's funny when that happens because it's happened to me actually more than once. So, Tyler, subsets. Is there any subsets you want to collect for?
I mean, the only one I'm going for right now ain't so retro, and that's PlayStation Hits one for
Mm.
PS4.
Also getting the
Which,
Pokemon games. Yeah, so
Oh yeah, Pokemon games, but 2 more for the main set, and then for like everything, I need box, and I think just the Detective Pikachu games, honestly.
The
That
Switch
would
one
be
that
pretty
nobody
awesome.
talks about and Nintendo pretended they didn't release.
Yeah, that one and the 3DS one I don't have. So, but yeah, I got everything else. So that yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about what other subsets.
So Tyler, I know you're not like me or you are like me in terms of like you don't buy every game with the intent to play it, and we totally think that's okay. Zach, you're kind of more the opposite. Everything you buy, you actually want to play, right?
I mean, I'll clarify. Everything I buy, I'll say this: 90% of the things I buy, if given the time, I would like to play them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy like random games unless it's like some weird piece of history or some neat thing. I don't buy games that I outright don't want to play. Most things I buy, if given the time, I would like to play them. Yes. Obviously, I can't play everything, so
Why not?
Yeah.
Aren't you a real gamer?
I try my best to be, but then I spend too much time playing certain games, like way too long. So,
Like a game about digging a hole.
yeah, well, it's a fun game.
No, I actually thought about picking it up after this. I thought it looked like
You
a lot of
should.
fun.
You should.
For $5, why not? That's a good afternoon killer.
Exactly.
Really?
Do you guys have any dream games that you're like, I want to own this one day so badly, but I don't know if I'll ever get it? Or it's too expensive? Or you plan on getting it just when the timing is right?
I'm always. Oh,
Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
this is not your question, but it just came to my mind. I used to watch a lot of the IGN Nintendo podcast, and Per Schneider, one of the I guess founders of IGN,
Hmm.
he has a complete Mario 64 that Shigeru Miyamoto signed, and I always thought I would kill a man to have a Mario 64 that Shigeru Miyamoto signed.
Kill a man.
But I'll have to think about that, like what my Grail games would be.
What about you, Tyler?
I mean, obviously, I mentioned already Pokemon Box. It's not really a game; it's more like a storage thing. But that's one thing I'd love to have one day. But we'll see if it ever happens. Try to make it happen, but you never know. But another thing I want to get is like, so it's not a game, but how they have those like Pokemon Center exclusive Pokemon Game Boys. Like Game
Oh
Boy
yeah, those are
Advance and
sick.
stuff. Like the Latios Latios, they have the SP for Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza. Like those I would love to have. Like they look so cool, but those go for crazy amounts of money, thousands each. Like
Yes.
I
so,
would
I
love
don't
to
think
have
that'll.
I want the cardboard Joy Cons for the Nintendo Labo
Oh, those are
competitions
so
they
cool.
give out.
Those are so
Um,
cool.
But obviously, those will never. I don't think anyone will ever sell those. But
You'd be surprised. One of the wildest like giveaway things I've ever seen for sales, they made like 4 custom Nintendo DSs that were Animal Crossing Wild World. They did like one for each season, and I think like 3 of those have been up for sale at some point or like traded into game stores and stuff. And it's like those are one of one. So
well, I guess let me rephrase. If those cardboard Joy Cons go up for sale on eBay, I won't be able to afford them. Somebody else would outbid me.
that's
So,
fair.
I think one other thing too I want is I mean it'll happen one day. It's just a matter of whenever it pops up on eBay for a decent price because some people got them listed for crazy amounts. Is the that Wii Sega Fun Pack? You know, I got the PSP one, I got the PS2 one. All I need is the Wii one. One popped up, it was like 2 something. I almost
It was
pulled the
trash
trigger.
condition too, right?
Yeah, condition was kind of iffy, and the one of the barcode stickers were missing, so it could have been just like a game swap. And I'd rather have ones that I knew came in it.
That's
I
fair.
don't know, it's just me, a little pet peeve, I guess.
No, if you want, you don't want, a zombified version of something that's
Yeah.
hard to find. You want to make sure it's legit.
Because like the PS2 one, it's probably like the middle of the bunch. I got that one. It's not the greatest condition, but again, you're not going to find it, so figured I might as well get it.
Mhm.
Has the stickers. PSP one, probably the hardest one to find. Got that one. Has the stickers, so I kind of just want the Wii one to match as well. But some people got them listed for like that been up for years for like $1,100, and nobody's buying them. But then somebody posted one for $300, and somebody bought it. But
I mean, that's when you
Okay.
should just start. I mean, unless they don't have it, I was gonna say if there's the best offer on there, just start lowballing and see what they take.
that is true. Could do that.
Because
But-
like if it's been sitting there for years at 1,000, after 2 or 3 years, you think if someone's like $400, they might just be like, whatever, I'll get rid of it now.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool to have all 3 of them. So,
That would be cool.
but
And it's so funny because I felt like for the longest time the Wii one was the only one that I ever saw when they would rarely go up for sale. But then you have the other 2, and I'm like, I didn't even know those existed.
now you know.
So you got lucky. They're really cool.
Dude,
One thing
remember
I would.
that,
Oh.
that PSP one popped up when I was sitting with my friends and family at Texas Roadhouse, and I was like, "Oh, hold on." I was
Hold
like,
my
"All right,
rolls."
now, dude. I was
hold
like,
my
I just
roll.
spent $200, and they were like, "What?" I was like, "It popped up, man. I just had to do it."
I had to do it. I did a long live stream the other day with Christian where we talked about we did like a general Q&A for our show we do on his channel, and I brought up, I was like, there's nothing quite like the adrenaline rush of the thoughtless buy it now on eBay. Like when you've been looking for something and you're like, oh, not, you don't even think about it. You
Yeah.
don't even check what credit card or debit card is hooked up to. You just hit buy it now. You let
Figure it out
God
later.
you let God take the wheel and you get whatever you need.
That's how I got my Arno Surge. Well, it wasn't like that, but like it was. I was at a bar and I was drinking, and I wasn't, fully there. I guess, and I drank a little too much. And I was like, man, I really want Arno Surge. I just hopped on eBay, found a copy, and I just bought it. And then, like I realized next day, I was like,
That's
damn,
quite
I
the
should have Arno
drunken
Surge.
thought. Man, I need Arno Surge on Vita right now.
Because I think I was texting at the time about Vita.
Arno
And I was just like, I'm gonna buy Arno Surge.
That's funny. One of my
How-
dream items, I don't know if I'll ever get to own it, but it's this very rare, I think it's like a less than 100 copies made kind of thing. Oh, there it is. You got the special edition too. You're fancier than me. I only have the regular edition.
It only came in the special edition.
I know, so my copy's technically not complete in box. I'm a chump. I got a loose Vita set. But one of the things I want most is the Pioneer Edition of Animal Crossing on the GameCube. It was like a giveaway. I don't remember how exactly it worked, but they gave it away to people, and these people like got the game a week early. They got a calendar, the game, and then the game box and manual itself, nothing's different about them, but the disc is, I think it's not for resale sale, or it says promo or something on it, and then the memory card had like some like extra goodies preloaded onto it. So just extraordinarily rare, really cool. It's like just a pre-release version of one of the greatest games ever made, which created one of the biggest gaming franchises ever. Extraordinarily rare, hard to find GameCube variant that I really want. Because even if I never actually finish the GameCube set again, I still want to get like every variant possible because I just love GameCube variants. I've always found them so fun to collect and so fascinating. Because it's like, at least for a long time, a lot of it was not well known, and even today it's not. There's still every once in a while, I'll find something that I didn't know exists, or someone else I know will find something that doesn't exist. So it's like just a very undocumented, like part of collecting is GameCube variants. Stuff that came with CDs or DVDs. There's a Shrek game that came with a watch, and that watch is worth thousands of dollars, which is hilarious because the watch is always missing. I got my Bratz games that came with Bratz doll outfits, which I think are hilarious. There's a Metroid Prime with like a Target coupon book. That's one of my favorites. Tons of cool, interesting stuff.
The bag of seeds for Pikmin 1 and 2.
Yes, the very real bag of seeds for Pikmin 1 and 2. Lots of really cool stuff. But yeah, that was always one of my favorites, was the DVD combos on GameCube games that came with DVDs. There's two I've been missing for years. It makes me so sad because they're so hard to find. And when they do come up, they've always been too expensive. One of them is Billy and Mandy. The game sucks, but I love Billy and Mandy, so it'd be cool to have that DVD pack. And
Is it the subtitle? Billy and Mandy, the game sucks?
It should be. It's a terrible game. But then there's also a Mega Man Network transmission that came with a DVD for Mega Man NT Warrior anime. And I've only ever seen sealed copies of that. And it's weird because it's like the game is sealed and there's a DVD, but then there's a printout of the back of the game over it. So I've never been able to figure out what the DVD itself actually looks like. Because I'd be okay with having like a loose, like an unopened copy with just like having the DVD slapped to the back in a protective case to keep them together or something, but can't find it. Never been able to see one that wasn't sealed. So, and no one's ever gonna buy one of those and cut the seal off. So it's gonna be a mystery probably forever. But yeah,
Buy stuff now. This is making me want to buy stuff.
I know. I'm telling you, after this, I'm gonna go to my retro game store. And I've got a small handful of things I'm ready to sell. I'm gonna be selling my Japanese copy of Pokemon Crystal because I just don't really have a need for it, and that's like worth like $100. But it is cool because unlike the American copy, the back of the Crystal cartridge actually has like etched design inside of the cartridge, which is really cool. I've never seen another Game Boy game that had that. And then I also have a sealed copy of the Ratchet and Clank trilogy on Vita, which was a European physical exclusive that I just don't care about owning because I'm not that big of a Ratchet and Clank fan, and European games are really gross, so I'd rather just get rid of it.
So I mentioned I don't like to sell games. When I have a game, it's mine forever. I do have one game that I have a duplicate of. Would you like to take one guess, and I'll show you what the game is that I have a duplicate of?
I'm
I
gonna
would
guess
like to eventually get rid of it.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know actually.
You're not gonna guess it.
Okay.
If you grabbed it from in front of you, I'm assuming it's PlayStation.
Yeah, that's true.
PS4, right?
Or I also have Xbox on the shelf.
So that could be PS4 or Xbox.
PlayStation or Xbox.
Is it Conquer Live and Reloaded for the Xbox?
No, it's obviously gonna be Gran Turismo Sport.
No, the game is Kinect Adventures.
You will have to pay them to take that from you, actually.
My roommate also had this game, so we have two of them. It's the one game that we both had.
The only crossover.
Literally the only one that we both. It's funny. She had a Mrs. Pac-Man on N64, and I had it on PlayStation, so I have like both of those.
Mm-hmm.
but then this is the only game we both had for the same console.
That's funny.
Is this?
So you should go for the Miss Pac-Man subset and just get every version of that.
There's a little notch next to my couch in my game room.
Mhm.
It's like just big enough for a arcade 1-up. Like I
Oh, one
want to
of
get the
those,
Miss
yeah.
Pac-Man. That would tie the room together, I think. But
That'd be fun.
I recently checked on those, and like I was only finding it for like $500. I couldn't find like a. I feel like they were on sale at one point, but I'm only finding them like expensive now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know. I have two of those actually, but they are both gifts from my parents for like holidays. So I have the Marvel one, the Marvel Superheroes one, and then I have the Mortal Kombat one, which are both really cool. So I love those things.
Yeah, I just see them on like Best Buy selling it for $450, and Arcade 1-up is selling it for $450. It's like,
Yeah, it's a little pricey. What annoys me though that Arcade 1-up has done is they've charged more for the arcade cabinets with more games on it. And I'm like, it's the same fucking arcade thing. You're just throwing a ROM on there. You shouldn't be charging more for that.
that is kind of bogus, honestly.
But no, I think they have a Marvel vs. Capcom one now, which would be really cool to own as well. So, which I always loved playing my Marvel vs. Capcom games.
I wonder if one of these random stores would have it. No, I'll go check.
Sometimes Walmart has them on clearance. So
Yeah, I want to see if like maybe this Walmart has one like on the back shelf that's been there for 6 years. But,
caked in dust.
yeah, Walmart still sells it for $50.
Just as we learn in retro game collecting, haggle with them. Haggle Walmart.
Haggle with Walmart?
Haggle with Walmart.
$100.
Call the Waltons yourself.
Get Walton on the phone. Mr. Walton.
Yeah, you had this in here for 6 years. You're pretty much paying to keep it here. Give you $100, take it off.
You're like, I'm doing you a favor taking it off your hands. You know, I've watched a lot of Pawn Stars. I've gotten really good at negotiating. We were watching another Pawn Stars compilation last night. Instead of the Not a Penny More compilation, it was the Not a Dime More compilation. So, and then the thumbnail was like, Rick won't pay more than 10 cents for these items.
When are you gonna go there? You live like 15 minutes from it.
I know. Maybe I'll go tomorrow. That'd be fun. We should just go.
Do they have like a video game section there? Do they have like?
I don't know. I saw somebody on TikTok once post that they went there and they're like seeing what technology I could find, and the only thing they found was an N64. So probably hit or miss. But
Instead of selling your games at a game store, you should go sell them there. See what they give you. You know.
See if they try to rip me off.
Yeah.
Dude, you could have totally made a Pawn Stars episode like I'm selling a Nintendo GameCube set.
I could have. I should have hit him up.
Yeah, you could have been on there, dude.
But why is your impersonation to me so nasally? Jesus Christ, that's kind of
sorry.
rude.
I mean, I was sorry. It
You're like,
wasn't
I'm
you.
selling.
I was going for like generic like nerd voice. Like I'm selling all my GameCube games to the Pawn Stars.
That felt much more like a personal attack.
Yeah, in hindsight, I apologize. It was fucked up.
Oh my god, that was funny. But real talk, that's something I've never done is actually gone game hunting like at Pawn Stores, because there's so many pawn stores around me. I always feel like I should try looking at pawn shops, but I haven't done that yet. I've done Goodwill, of course, like we've all tried and failed because there's never anything good at Goodwill anymore. But
All we find is Connects in Vegas.
there were so many connects. That was crazy. There's so many fucking connects.
Should have bought 2 of them for Zach.
I have a Connect. I have the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One Connect.
Hell yeah.
Playing that Sonic Free Riders.
No, I'm not. But
Do you guys have limits of how much you're willing to spend on a game? Like, is there a number where you're like, nah, I wouldn't spend that much because it's not justifiable? Or are you like, whatever, if I want it bad enough, I'll just pony up?
I think it's where that is. Yeah.
And like if I have the spending, you know,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
I've always thought, like, what if I just really buckled down one month and just, like, pretended one of my paychecks didn't come in and then just spent a paycheck on a game? Like, just
All of
for
it?
1 week, just pretend like it doesn't exist. Don't buy anything. Eat, like, beans and rice for a week. And then, like, just, like, oh, an extra paycheck. And, like, spend it all on something stupid. But I've never done that. I can't quite make myself do it.
Yeah, I've always told myself I'd never spend over $1,000 on a game, and I've stuck to that, and I probably will forever, even if I have. If I somehow become super wealthy in some way, shape, or form, I just feel like, I don't know, I don't know if I'd ever be able to justify spending that much money.
If I become wealthy, I'm gonna start buying incredibly stupid shit for whatever it costs. I'm just gonna start throwing money around.
All filler.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if I win the lottery one day, you're gonna start seeing these shelves multiply. I'm gonna start buying everything.
It's
I don't care.
Our next
He's like, a
episode
video game
recorded is a
exists,
whole
I
nother
own
show.
it.
Yeah. If I won one like the Powerball, I will buy every game. I think I
Yeah,
will.
and that's
next
probably
episode.
true. I was thinking like, I start to do super well in life, not like fuck you money. If I had fuck you money, then yeah, I would just buy everything.
Yeah, I think
Next.
I'll always stick with my mindset of like buy games I want, and then if I won like an actual lottery winnings, I would turn into fuck you. I own all of these now.
If you
Featuring
were
the
to go
next,
to a full, like, break your own rules, go for a full set, what would you do? Like, do you have
Are
a
we
favorite
talking, like-
console that you'd
Yeah,
be
are
like,
you
it
asking
would be
me, like,
cool to
which
own it all?
one is balanced of like actual ease of doing it, or just like which one do I want?
What would
Yeah,
you
like
do?
if you were just be like, I own every game for this console right now, complete in box,
Complete in box,
boom,
probably Game Boy Advance, I would say.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we had to go like which one was actually manageable, I don't know.
We use the easiest one,
Yeah,
so
Wii U or Virtual Boy minus Jack Bros.
minus Jack Bros.
Zach hits lottery next episode on the pickups. He's gonna go over a whole N64 set.
Let's
Oh,
go.
I'll make y'all
Oh,
suffer.
I got
I'm
this.
I got this and this and this and this. I'll just be a total dick about it.
You just see it stacking up next to him as he's putting it back down in this.
Y'all have any pickups? Yeah, well, I have stacks of games behind me.
Oh yeah, then he just turns around.
24-hour podcast, just showing off the games you got. Tyler, obviously you're slowly going for Vita, slowly going for N-Gage. Is there anything else you think you want to go for at some point in terms of a full set?
I played around with the thought of Dreamcast, but I don't know about that one. I
Copycat?
played around with. Well, that's why I'm not doing it.
I don't
Played
care.
around, played around with the thought of Saturn, but I was like, expensive.
So
One thing I
expensive.
think would be kind of cool is PlayStation 1.
That would be cool. That's a crazy big library too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it would be daunting to do, but like, I feel like it'd be badass.
I've only ever seen one person with a full PS2 or PS1 library, and it was quite the sight to behold.
Or actually, PSP as well, man. Like, that was another one I thought about, and I don't know, maybe, but as of right now, I got too much on my hands.
That's fair.
With set collecting, I need to just settle down and be like, I'm going for this one.
Finish one of the ones you started.
I mean, N-Gage is kind of the one where it's like, it's just whenever I see it at this point, because
Yeah, all the games you have left are the ones that you have to actively search for, right?
yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
There's probably like two of them you could like look up and find, but the only ones you'll find is like press kits, and they're like super expensive. So like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
It would be fun if I did have fuck you money. Like when a new console comes out, just buy every game as it comes out. Like every single one for MSRP.
I started that with freaking Switch Limited Run, and then
man.
I quickly stopped. I got like 12 in, and I was like, this is stupid. And they're doing one like every week. I was like, I'm not doing it.
I know somebody that's done that with a PS4, so for many years they've been just buying every PS4 game as it comes out, so
And they're still doing it? That's
Yeah.
a lot.
it's a lot. They're still doing it, though.
They may at this point. I mean, you're just drip feeding at this point. So
Yeah, it is. It's not like there's tons of PS4 still coming out, so
Yeah. That's
But-
crazy.
those fools don't have Poop Slinger, so
Exactly. Not a full set.
not a full set if you don't got Poop Slinger.
Uh,
I'll never
If
forget.
I had
I
fucking money,
almost
I'd
bought
buy
that
that.
game, and I was like, this website looks like it's going to, send a nuke to my house. I was very afraid.
man,
Steal my social security number. So it's like I didn't buy it. And then when people actually started getting the game, I was like, damn it, I should have bought it.
speaking of games like that, real quick, when are we gonna get 1001 Spikes, bro?
Or Binding of Isaac.
They announced the thing on October 1st.
Yeah,
It is
those
now
both of those Vita
February.
games and whatever that VVVVVVVV game
Yeah.
is. All three of those have physicals on Vita. They just haven't actually officially released them yet. It's super weird.
Like, and they were like, "Oh, big news coming October 1st for
It
1,000."
still hasn't happened.
Yeah, they showed the edition off. They're like, "We're gonna be releasing this."
I know, because it's like, in terms of like retail Vita, I'm like, I'm happy to be done, and it's gonna be annoying because I'm gonna have to buy these games now. I'd rather just be done. But it is what it is, I guess. So
to get to. No,
I
it's gonna
how
be
many
like
Vita
20.
games are you away, Tyler, from the full set? Do you have any idea?
Let me check. Hold on. Keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Pull up your fancy dancy app. Fancy pants app.
I'm just looking at what a weird collector I am. We're talking about collecting games, and the games that I decided to pull out of my desk today are a loose Rayman 2, 2 loose Game Gear games, Cyberpunk for PlayStation 4, and 2 copies of Kinect Adventures.
All killer, no filler, huh?
All killer, no filler. Is the goal of yours eventually to get boxes of manuals for all your carts, or are you not too concerned about
Oh yeah,
that?
I do want to like regain all the box. Like Sacred Stones is a big one I want to get first. My first game ever that I can remember having is Oracle of Ages. I would like to get recomplete that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my N64 games, like I want to get Mario 64 complete. Iggy's Wrecking Ball, of course, got to complete that.
All-time classic.
All-time classic. But yeah, I would like to complete my loose games. I don't consider them, now that I am like going to collect games, I don't consider those as games I like truly have until I have the complete version of it. So
Yeah, that is the biggest shift I've had in my collecting habits, is my rule of only CIB. So it's both helped me save money and not save money at the same time. Because it's like I'm not buying up every cartridge of every game I want, but when I do buy a game, it's more expensive on average just because it has everything. But, it's like any of these games I could just play at any point in time now. Emulation is so easy. So it's like, if I'm going to own it, I'd rather own, like, the fully complete coolest, like, whatever version that there is of it. And it's like, if I can't have that, then it's like, whatever, I could just play it. So
as long as this is fully, as long as this is fully up to date.
you go. You go.
As long as this is fully up to date, and I'm pretty sure it is from looking at it. I'm missing 50.
So you're not too far away. It's a small set. You're about 75% of the way there, then.
Yep.
Are you going to do a limited run as well, or no?
Yeah, I'll get it as it goes on.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
No, I was going to say that the only loose games I buy now that I still allow myself to buy when I go to my my game store, I like to buy loose Game Boy games that I've never seen before just to play them in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just some random nonsense game for like $12, I'll buy that just to like
check it out.
Play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't worry too much about completing those. But mainly because I like to flex on them. When they pull the game out, I'm like, oh, let me test it real quick. And I put it up and like, what's that? I'm like, oh, it's my Analog Pocket. It's like,
So fucking dramatic. It's no big deal. It's just the Analog Pocket.
It's just the Analog Pocket.
Trying to figure out which one of these is probably the most expensive that I still need.
I always think about getting an Analog Pocket, and I still think I might one day. And I was always on the fence about it until I actually tried yours, and I was like, oh, this is really nice and, like, premium feeling. And, like, the weight to it is just, it's so perfect. But, I don't know, it's hard for me to justify just because I have so many, I have so many avenues already to play these games, between, my 3DS, my Ambernick handheld, my Steam Deck if I wanted to, all these different things. So it's just kind of hard for me to justify, but it is a really nice machine.
Just because you can play cartridges that you have, and you can I downloaded that Pokemon ROM hack that like makes Emerald look like a Gen 2 game,
which is really cool.
And just being able to play games like that and actual cartridges is real neat.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get an SD card for mine so I can do that.
Yeah,
I need to buy all my N64 games because my Analog 3D eventually that'll show up. I don't know when it's going to show up. Are you excited
for that?
Yeah, but I want to get a handful of N64 games for when that eventually does arrive.
What's your biggest N64 game you're missing that you want?
Well, I'm missing a lot of N64. I only have a handful of games I actually care about in N64. But I want to get Smash Bros. That's my big one.
Just drop my microphone, Jesus.
I really want Smash Bros. I need to get both the Zeldas. But yeah.
Sorry. Typing 229 mic drop in my notes so I know to edit it out so that way people don't go deaf when they listen
Are you
to
going
the
to edit out the
podcast.
part where I disappeared for 5 minutes?
No, we kept talking. So,
Good.
you had some
Well, I
good,
can hear y'all. I can hear y'all the whole time.
you had some phenomenal and terrifying freeze frames. So,
Did
it'll
they
be-
show
it'll-
up? I was trying to I was just doing this,
Yeah.
hoping something would show up the whole time.
But it was going at like a frame a second. It was great.
Okay, good. Okay, good. It worked out like I wanted to then.
Exactly. So all is well. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to the game store later and I'm hoping to find some more Dreamcast on. I'm excited about it. I really want to get some more NES though. Something I feel like I'm slacking is complete in box NES games. I really want to get my Tom Sawyer. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer would be great to have.
You could have bought it in
box.
Texas, bro.
I know, but it was kind of in rough shape. So I should have bought it because now I haven't seen any decent ones for a decent price. And I really want the Little Mermaid on NES. I've been thinking about that because I really enjoyed that game. And I actually found a complete in box copy last time I went to Arizona to visit some friends. But the box was good, but the manual was totally trashed, and the game's actual cartridge label was torn off on the top. And I was like, ugh. And it was like $50, and I was like, I'd rather just, pay $65 and have it be nice. So I ended up passing on that. But it's hard because I don't come across a lot of, CIB NES in person. And obviously I'm okay with buying games on eBay. It's just always more fun to get stuff in person.
Like a Left Bros Mario 3.
Yeah, like your Left Bros Mario 3. I think the
That was
only CIB NES games I have right now are Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest 1, and Final Fantasy 1. So those are cool games to own, but that's all I
had
got.
none.
So,
Until that pickup.
oh really? That's funny.
Yeah.
I'd like to get more NES JRPGs. I think that'd be kind of fun. There's not way too many of them I can think of off the top of my head, but maybe that'd be a fun little subset to go for.
I've got the Super Famicom. Sorry, the Famicom version of Fire Emblem One.
Hmm.
So
Which is
that's-
cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
You guys ever think about getting more into import collecting?
I think most Japanese games look cooler, so I do enjoy buying the occasional Japanese game.
How about
Yeah.
you, Tyler?
I mean, they're neat. Like the Game Boy Advance ones look cool.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. The GameCube ones look neat.
Yeah,
There's
I
so
love
much-
my Japanese GameCube games. I have, I think, like 120 Japanese GameCube games somewhere around there, and they're just so cool looking. It's harder to keep them in nice condition because it's all cardboard, so it's easy to rough them up, but they look really nice.
Yeah.
You can buy them for pennies on the dollar compared to their ESRB counterparts.
Yeah, for the most part. Some of them are still pretty pricey, and some of the exclusives are pricier because I think it's gotten kind of popular to import these, but they are really neat. Like, I think Eternal Darkness is still like a $80 or $90 game even in the Japanese copy, so almost on par with American copies.
One I still want to import is that Pokemon typing game that never came over here.
Mhm.
On the DS, comes with a keyboard.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
I think it's the European version, whichever one that has the English on it. So
That would be cool.
Just look how good Paper Mario looks.
God, it's
look how
beautiful.
cool look how cool that
Yeah,
is.
Mhm.
Mario's
It's really cool.
Or Mario's story, as they.
I know that's something where I'm always hoping like I'll come across that like in person, like at a retro game shop where it's like, oh, they have some Super Famicom or Japanese N64 games, and it's like if they're like something like that where it's like probably like not going to be more than like $20 a piece. It's like I would love to buy up a bunch of those at once just to have as like cool shelf pieces because so many of them have just such better box art.
Yeah.
One day.
Totally gonna say something. I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah.
That's why I wasn't talking. You looked like you were about to spout something
Yeah,
out, and then
I
you
was
got
like-
real quiet.
Damn, that's twice now.
Hmm.
Oh, it's my birthday. I'm getting old and forgetting stuff.
Oh my god, senile, luscious slut.
For real, dude. I'm becoming like Mermaid Man now. Uh,
Can you wear the Mermaid Man outfit on the next episode? That'd be fun.
the
With
bra
his
thing and
weird,
everything?
like, shell bikini. It's so funny. I never understood that. Why did Mermaid Man have a bikini over his superhero suit?
I should do that if we do like a Halloween episode.
It's kind of a power move. That would be fun. Next time for our Halloween episode, we should dress up. That'd be a good idea.
I get like a little wig with a little twirl thing right here. Get the star thing on my face. Evil! Like,
Drive around the invisible boat mobile.
I'm just like, man.
Well, yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to talk about in terms of collecting, goals you have, stuff you like to do. If you feel like you let it all out. We have some audience write-ins as well we can go over.
Oh yeah.
do
Let's
that.
see. So we got 3 write-ins, which is perfect. So I will go ahead and go first. Tyler can go second. Zach can go third. First up, we have John wrote in.
All
He
right.
said, "Hey, what's up, guys? John is back. I'm not hardcore into retro collecting. COVID messed it up, but it's starting to get better for me. The prices are way too high." Yeah. The hobby definitely changed a lot during that time. Every collectible really changed pretty much permanently from that time, whether it be video games, cards, VHS, vinyl, everything kind of exploded because, I don't know, people just started to like hoarding, I guess, once they couldn't leave the house. Spending money was, obviously something you could still do. So, but yeah, prices aren't as bad as they used to be, but they're still definitely higher than they once were. But I'd rather see the hobby thrive and be a little bit pricier and have game stores exist and, more game stores start to open up and different things than to see the hobby, continue to go downward and see these things die out. So, it's a little bit of both, prices are higher, but in terms of, at least in my experience, local game stores thriving and finding stuff, it's at an all-time high. So it is kind of nice to have that as well, in my opinion. Tyler, want to go ahead and read the next write-in?
Yeah, freaking Colin Knoll Teller suit here. Um,
That's your ass.
these are my collecting priorities ordered from highest to lowest. First priority, critically acclaimed games, the top 100 games of all time to eventually play at some point in my lifetime. That'd be pretty neat. Those are like some kind of list that I want to make one day. Like, oh, top this, top that. And kind of how Zach was mentioning earlier about like games he wants to buy. I was actually talking to our buddy Christian about that. Like, I just want to go down, get a whole list down just for like certain things I want to search for and stuff.
God, I think my list would be like 5,000 games. So it's like, I can't
Probably.
do something like that.
But like, I don't know. I feel like it'd just be fun. And that way, when I go out, well, yeah, if my list is that big, when I'll go out, that's a lot to look for. But I mean, like, it'd be cool to check them off.
Definitely.
It's sort of like the Metacritic top 100, and just buy all those.
Do
I
that.
remember one time something I attempted but never finished was I think it was the final Nintendo Power magazine had like the list of like the 10 best games for each Nintendo console, and I was trying to buy all those because I was like, oh, this is according to Nintendo the best games for their consoles, and I thought that was kind of fun. I can't remember most of the games that are on the list now, but I when I attempted that, I remember thinking that was a fun thing to collect for, just because it was like, oh, a list of best games by Nintendo from Nintendo.
That's neat.
Second priority, games I personally like, passion projects, which include arcade sports games, Halo series, deck builders, other strategy games.
Hell yeah.
And third priority, flex pieces strictly to post on Reddit and let everyone know how awesome I am, and games I like to speculate on that could increase in price to help fund the expensive games in the first and second priority categories. Kind of like, what's that? Fist of the North Star fitness boxing, That's gonna come up to the moon.
Or Concord.
Yes, Concord. Le
Concord, baby.
Le
The
Concord.
Con-
No, yeah. How do you guys feel about people that resell and stuff like that? Does that bug you at all? You feel like it's just part of the game?
I don't mind. My personal preference on reselling things, video games or otherwise, any product, anything that is, you can resell anything. It bothers me when people specifically buy up everything at a launch and then resell at launch. People who
Mhm.
just want to buy something. That
Yeah.
bothers me. I do
No.
hate those people.
Pretty much exactly
Um,
how I feel.
Yeah.
Especially, in Pokemon cards, that's a big thing right now is
yeah,
people
that
scalping
shit pisses
Pokemon
me off
cards.
to no end. I
I
want
got me
to.
back in at the bad time, dude.
I know. It's
Yeah,
been a month and I still haven't found Prismatic Evolutions once in stores. Once. So,
I gave up.
that shit makes me
Following all
mad.
those links, I gave up. I was like, well,
I had a
hey,
friend. I had a friend in um after high school, and he showed me a picture. I was friends with him. I didn't know this part about him, but one day he's like, "Oh yeah, when the Super Nintendo Classic came out, I bought like 8 of them and resold me." So we had a picture of him holding like 8 Super
Mhm.
Nintendo Classics, and
You're
I
like, oh.
almost fought him right there. I almost like attacked this man.
You're like,
I
wow,
was
you're
so
not my
mad.
friend anymore.
I was so mad that he's like proud of it. He's like, "Yeah, I flipped these all for X amount of dollars more." And I was so mad at him.
Yeah, that's
Um,
shitty.
dude, I
that
remember. Well,
does make
well,
me.
so this doesn't really involve resellers. It's just a funny story since you're speaking of like launches and stuff.
Mm.
I remember this guy was totally not a reseller because it was during the amiibo time, the amiibo craze. You know, amiibos are hot stuff like in the
Oh my
beginning.
god, yeah. I camped out for
And-
Amiibos. I was
Mhm.
crazy about them.
Mm-hmm. I camped out at it was Target. Got there at like 2 a.m. Whatever. I was like fifth in line, and so the guy that was they came back out and they said how many they had, like the overnight people,
Mhm.
to just let everybody know. So this was with Robin, Lucina, Pac-Man.
You're traumatizing me just mentioning this because I have a very similar story, I think.
Really?
Yes,
So
go on.
well, hold on. And then so like I said, I was fifth in line, and they had 4 Lucina, 4 Robin, multiple Pac-Man. I think Mega Man came out at the same time, and I don't remember who else. I feel like it was like 1 or 2 more. So I was like, shit. I was like, I really wanted Lucina. I really wanted Robin. Yada yada. And then, Pac-Man was like the most common of all of them. And then going through the night, we were just all talking. We'd talk about different stories, gaming, all that stuff. And then the guy in front of me was like, I'm a big Pac-Man fan. If you buy me like another Pac-Man, since I can't buy 2, I'll let you get the Robin or Lucina. And I was like, really? I was like, are you sure? I was like, that's like $12. Like, and the Lucina's gonna go for a lot. And he was like, yeah, I don't really care for him. I just want Pac-Man. Okay. I was like, I'll buy you another Pac-Man. So I just gave him another Pac-Man, and yeah, that worked out. But I think he gave me Robin. He kept Lucina. So then I had to buy off a reseller, Lucina. But
Yeah, so the launch of that wave, at the time I was working like semi overnights, like I was working like 5 p.m. to 1 or 2 in the morning. It's kind of like a swing-ish shift, not quite overnight. And that night, I remember I went to Walmart after I got off. I was the only person waiting there. And then the guy was making fun of me for waiting for him to put out Amiibos, which was nice of that Walmart worker. And then, of course, like a girl comes in and she waits behind me, and then he's really nice to the girl. I'm like, what a fucking asshole. And all they had was Charizard and Pac-Man. So I got Charizard and Pac-Man. I was like, all right, cool. Because that was all they had. And I was like, whatever, at least I got 2. But as you guys know, Lucina, one of my favorite characters in all of fiction, my favorite Fire Emblem character, so I really wanted that Amiibo. I go home, sleep for a few hours, and I go to Fry's Electronics as soon as they open. There's no line or anything; they just let people in. So I run to the back, and I see nothing. And then as all I see left are Charizard and Pac-Man. I was like, oh, maybe that's all they got too. And then I walk out the front, I see people buying Robin and Lucina, and I was like, oh, I guess they got the last ones. That sucks. So then I go to Target. And they didn't have anything. At the time, Jigglypuff was a Target exclusive, so I was hoping I could at least get Jigglypuff. Didn't happen. Everything was gone. So I go to Best Buy, and Best Buy opened at 10. There was a line of people. I think I was 4th in line, and they did the same thing they did for you, Tyler. They said, how many they have of each one, and they had 2 Robin and 2 Amiibo. So I was 2 people away from being able... Or 2 Robin and 2 Lucina. So I was 2 people away. Yeah, I was 2 people away from being able to get the Lucina. I was very sad about it. And then I went to GameStop after, take one last chance, so if I get lucky, there's nothing there. So I go home that day, and then I imported an Australian Lucina for like $60. And that was how I ended up getting it, because I was like, this sucks. And at the time, we didn't know if they were ever going to make more Amiibos. They were so hard to find, and I was just like, it was my favorite Smash character. It was my main at the time. It was like, I just want it, whatever. So I ended up spending that money. And then I remember like a year later, there was like probably about 10,000 Lucinas at my local Best Buy that they couldn't even get rid of, and I was like, well, that's what I get, I guess.
Yeah.
Remember in the beginning when it was like the Holy Trinity, Marth, Villager, and Wii Fit Trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember buying a Wii Fit Trainer on eBay for $2.
Holy cow.
Yeah, because I have the whole set of Amiibo. They're all packed away now. I used to have it set up like the roster on my wall, but then I needed more space for games, so I took them down and made wall shelves.
Yeah, I was very, very into Amiibo too at one point. At one point I had almost all of them, and then I sold off most of them. Now I just have like a handful full of like favorite characters and things. I think the only sealed ones that I have are I have a sealed Joker, I have both the Bayonettas sealed, I have a sealed Lucina, sealed Lucas, sealed Ness, and then I have a sealed Palutena, sealed Pit, and sealed Dark Pit. And then I have like a couple of random loose ones, like the Zelda ones and things like that. So, but I was hardcore into Amiibo for sure. I was on the hunt. I was doing my best. I remember getting home one night when it was those late shifts I was still doing. It was like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, and it was like Greninja randomly went up on Toys R Us's website, and I was like, oh! And I ordered a Greninja because everybody was asleep. So I actually was able to get one, and yeah, Amiibo was, if you had to be there, it was fucking crazy. You had to be there when Amiibos were first coming out, because that was like absolutely nutty time to collect.
I remember Toys R Us, man.
So crazy.
But when they did the Greninja drop, they were doing pre-orders. So people waited overnight for pre-orders. They came out there like we could take like 100, and I think it was like 10 or 100 and something pre-orders. It was the low hundreds. And dude, that many people lined up before the store opened. And there were people that were still showing up, and we're like, yeah, they're all out. They handed out the cards already. And dude, some people were getting mad. They were like, oh, fuck this, dude. Fuck all you.
Do you remember that dude that bought like 200 Rosalinas just so less people can get them?
Target exclusive.
I mean, those are the people I would love to just like break their kneecaps, like with baseball bats. I hate those people so much.
I remember Ness was a nightmare too, because Ness was a GameStop exclusive, and you could pre-order it. And I remember I went in person to pre-order it, and they put my old address, and I was like freaking out because I was like, no, I finally got a pre-order, but it's gonna get sent to my old house. So I had to buy a second one because the guy was like, oh, I can set the pre-order, but I can't cancel the pre-order in store. I'm like, you guys fucking suck. So I had to spend another $12 just to get the other one sent to the right house.
Did that random person just get an Ness Amiibo sent to their?
Yeah, they're probably like, what the fuck is this? They probably just threw it away. And at the time, that was like Nintendo Gold.
Yeah. That's funny.
Man.
Good times. Yeah, that was very hectic, very fun, and I've never experienced anything else like it in terms of like being actively collecting something. It was super fun.
What was the first Amiibo you bought?
The first Amiibo I bought was definitely just Link. So not very exciting, but I remember getting Link. I remember I tried to buy Zelda and Little Mac early because Target put them out a day early at my store. So there was a ton of them because nobody knew that they were out yet. They were supposed to be out the next day. And then when I went to check out, the lady wouldn't let me buy them because she was like, "Oh, it says I can't sell these till tomorrow." I'm like, "Well, they're on the shelves now. Can you do something for me?" She's like, "No, sorry, honey, you got to put them back." And I was like, "Fuck." And then I went back the next day and they were all gone.
Yeah.
My favorite Amiibo is this one. I don't know if they
the cereal. Let's go.
Cereal box.
Dude, shout out to the Mario Odyssey Amiibos in the wedding outfits. Those were fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those were on our wedding cake.
Were they really?
Yep.
That's
those were
cute.
our wedding toppers. Yep.
Was Bowser there wheeling it on like a different tier?
No, but my Mario Amiibos were on the wedding cake. Was pretty fun, so.
I hope it was like the Peach Amiibo and then the Mario cereal next to it.
That would have been so good. It's very confusing to everyone. No, that cereal box stays behind the glass. It's protected.
Is there still cereal in it, or did you dump it out?
Nope, cereal's still in there. Complete in box.
You gotta grade it, dude.
Yeah, I really think you should. The fact that you can.
Yeah, but I don't want to send it like to the UK or whatever, to like wherever that place was.
Just the fact that you could get graded cereal is pretty phenomenal.
Yep.
I think that one day you should just open it and do like a cereal live stream. How far past the expiration date is it?
How
if you
cool
wanted
would
to
a
eat it?
last meal be of like eating that cereal? Like
How cool? What?
Do you think it would take you out early?
No, like I'm saying, like I'm like, hopefully I'm very old and I'm like, I'm ready to go. And I just like eat this cereal,
Pull out the Mario Odyssey cereal.
crunch it up into little bits for me.
That's injected in your veins because you can't eat anymore.
It gives me a 1-up.
You're like
Live again.
an extra life. Yeah, you die and you just come right back. You
Yeah.
respawn as a child. Maybe that was a secret all along.
When in your
Nintendo's trying
hand,
to
you're just
extend
like,
life.
"What the-"
Good times. All right, we still have another write-in. We somehow that became something totally different. Zach, if you could read our final write-in.
Thank you, Colin Null Teller Suit. That was a good one.
Colonel.
All right, last one's from Jason. Hello, fellow gamers and Zach. When it comes to collecting games, I've been pretty much collecting since I started playing video games, with the first system being the Atari VCS, or more commonly known as the Atari 2600. Of course, growing up, video game collecting is harder because of the no income coming in. So you would need to pick and choose what games you would like, because you may only get a handful of games a year. One for your birthday, or maybe a good report card, or maybe two or three for Christmas. I collect pretty much everything except sports games and maybe a racing game here or there. But RPGs are my favorite to collect, especially good old turn-based RPGs. Unlike the remake that came out a few years ago. Did you like that one, Zach? I got my remake zinger in there early this time. It was if you call that early, sure, maybe.
It's earlier than most.
More early than most, yeah.
It was in the middle
Well,
of the Declaration of Independence.
Of course. Let's see. The one thing that's gotten bad about retro game collecting, or just game collecting in general, which you guys probably already talked about, is past couple of years the prices have gotten way out of control. Something that cost about $10 a few years ago can go for hundreds now. Also, game grading is getting ridiculous. I've seen people grading games that should never be graded. Like, I've seen someone have a graded sealed copy of Madden 2005. I mean, really, Madden 2005. I agree that there are some fun. I agree. I think it's funny to grade some of those games to an extent. Like, some things are funny to grade like that. But
Oh yeah, like I really want to get my copy of 30 Great Games on Wii U graded. I think that'd be hilarious.
You don't want a
Yeah.
Grady Corey in the house?
Then he says, for my final words, I still wouldn't give up collecting video games, as it's still my favorite hobby, and you can still find that great deal out there when game hunting, so keep looking for those video games. Yes.
And Jason, we gotta
Good
go game
writing.
again, man. I'm itching. I
You're
need to-
itching? Me too. I'm ready to go buy some video games after we're
I do
done
it.
with this show.
I do a New Jersey trip. Yeah, good stores.
Oh, it looks like we have a last minute change for episode 24. We are no longer doing Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow. Zach has changed it to the Corey of the House thoughts. So, we'll be discussing the Kyle Massey video game in full. We're gonna do a live long play as well. Live commentary.
Okay.
It's gonna be great.
I'm
But
down.
that's us, and that's retro video game collecting. We love wasting money. It's a great hobby. Wouldn't have it any other way. Hello, boys. Are you there?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
What the fuck are you guys doing? We're doing a podcast, and you're both looking at your screens.
Well, look at your
sorry.
screen.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Look at your screen, and you'll know.
Corey in the House thoughts.
I love
Also,
this
why
screen.
iCarly Final Boss theme should be real. Okay. Stupid.
I'm planning on buying something today. I'm going to buy something today.
But what is it? Is it a secret?
It'll be a secret for the listeners. We'll have maybe next week I'll show it off.
Very exciting. Yes. Don't forget, we are recording again next week. Only a week in between. That way we can get back to our kind of OG schedule of lining up the dates right. But we're going to be talking about Pokemon Gen 1. So please write in about that. We'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I'm sure a lot of you have memories of those games that you can share with us. And opinions and all that. Tell us about your favorite Pokemon and all that. And it's going to be a good time. Zach, goodbye. I hope you have a good weekend.
Thank you. You as well. Goodbye.
Tyler, goodbye. I hope you have a good weekend.
Goodbye. Hope you have a great weekend as well.
And you all the listeners, goodbye. It was fun talking to you all about retro games.
So
And we will see you all in 1 week this time.
So long.
Take care.
Until we meet again, I said so long. Farewell. Okay.